Villainous beats, villainous beats, villainous beats. Villainous beats, villainous beats.
In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. Imagine that, a future that's super black. Long as your skin brown, your superpowers intact. What would your powers be? Just hope it ain't super whack. Spatial manipulation, create a portal that's black. Maybe just super speed, time travel to run it back. Or cheat manipulation to keep my spirit intact. As I encounter evils the world face, demons the world makes, I'm needed the world at stake. Rest in peace to Chadwick, they killed all the Black Panthers. Told us white lies, I still marvel at black answers. Suits in DC, pray it lead to a civil war. It ain't no Justice League, what's the need to be civil for? Propelled like the juggernaut, it's clear ain't no stopping this. The world in grave danger, who can stop the apocalypse? They killed all the heroes, the new ones don't really care. But if you need me, put your fist up in the air. Yeah, in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is Super Black.
Ooh, hey everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Another episode of Blurred's Eye View. What's going on? You see how I leaned into the camera there for dramatic effect. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I see Black Spartan in the background. He said something crazy. But thank you for tuning in, everybody, for watching us, showing your love. Redemption arc continues this season. We have so much to talk about. We have a great guest coming on with us to talk about her career in acting and voice acting. But first, let's get the squad in here. Brand new father in the building, Black Spartan.
Thank you. I was going to say, if you're going to do the spin, you got to do the James Brown. You got to do that. You got to do that at least once.
Wait, here we go. We give me this right quick. There you go. Brand new.
Yes, brand new Papa, and he has definitely got my personality.
You say already.
Already.
Oh man! Also in the building is Cinematic Assassin. What's going on? You see, we can't do Wheel and Wheel anymore because the Battle of Wheels is now over. So,
he had the high ground.
Black Spartan looks awfully well rejuvenated for a man that shouldn't be getting any sleep. I'm a little suspicious.
Don't you
find that suspicious?
It's coffee and hope.
Oh, man. Shout out to our weapons master, Lady Mandalore. She's taking the night off because she has an exhausting. I didn't put her to work like that. She's just exhausted. So shout out to Lady Mandalore. Maybe I need maybe I'm a little exhausted. Who knows? Right. But for those who are watching us out there, thank you for tuning in. It's showing your love on the YouTube channel, Twitch channel, Facebook page. Also for those who are checking out Always Press Record and on Roku, you can find us there too, or on Amazon Fire. Because guess what? We're on your television. I told y'all will see us everywhere, and now we are. Pretty soon you'll be seeing us in person, so look out for that. Without any further ado, I want to get our guest in. She is an actress. She's a peach, a bright smile, on a sunny day. Vivacious Vivian Nweze, how's it going?
Hi, y'all. I'm good.
What's going on?
Let me give you this.
Nice to meet y'all.
Let me give you that. There you go. All right. I don't pay you people. Just relax. All right. Vivian, thank you for coming on. Let's talk about, we're getting right into it. Let's talk about your acting career, where people can find you, the things you like doing, projects you're working on. How did you get into acting?
So I was really shy and quiet as a kid, and my parents are African as hell. And so the advice I got was read your books, and the characters will be your friends.
Wow.
Not like
It was bad as we all heard that story.
Damn.
It was not great advice. Oh my God, not the best. My mom's a scientist, so you can see where she was coming from with that. So characters made me love characters in everything, in books, then TV, then movies. And I just really love disappearing into a character and exploring that life and showing that on screen. And then especially being like a dark-skinned Black girl, I know that my presence on camera means a lot to a lot of people, and I like being able to share different stories that people may not always see from someone that looks like me.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm glad you touched on that. That is something that is heavily, I think it's being more recognized now, that we're seeing more in just Black people in general, but definitely showing a love to, not having that colorism involved anymore. It's just like there's room at the table for all of us, and having and showing that respect and appreciation for women who feel like, oh, she's pretty for a dark-skinned girl, or she's too dark to play this role, or having those things are just exactly they're laughable, because it's like, why is that necessary? Just say I'm not fit, or that's not what you're looking for. You don't have to add that extra piece to it, or you don't even have to say she's a very attractive woman.
Why can't it just be left right at that? Just
just
a cutoff. Just
Right. Just say I'm cute and keep it moving.
yeah, so what all projects have you worked on so far? Because you're in LA, correct?
Yes, so
Okay.
I'm in Los Angeles, and as far as stuff I've got going on right now, I have a commercial out right now for Wayfair. So if you see a girl jumping on a couch and smiling real
God.
big, that's me smiling and jumping on property.
I'm not gonna lie, that's why she's familiar. That's why
I wasn't gonna say nothing, but I was like, wait a second. I kept looking at you like, I don't mean to be mean, but as soon as you said, I was like, that's where I know her from.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy, but the commercial's been airing for like 4 months now, so I'm like, oh, we really out here? Okay.
Yeah.
And
No, go ahead.
so besides that, May 1st, I'll be performing at Upright Citizens Brigade, doing a sketch show, and hopefully, if that goes well, I'll be in an ongoing thing with comedy group that I perform with and do videos with.
Ooh.
And yeah, just like a lot of auditioning right now. I'm still kind of I'm still kind of new to like the professional acting game. Like I just joined the union and just became like became real.
She's an actor.
Official.
I'm official. Yeah, it's trippy.
I like this vibe. So now I'm noticing your jacket. Is that Captain Marvel?
Of course. And like I had to. I got my Avengers shirt.
Nice.
She did not
Captain
come
Marvel
half
jacket.
correct at all today.
That's cool.
Yeah. I
think-
had to show up and show out because, I'm still black.
This is very fitting, and I'm gonna tell you why. She's wearing the Captain Marvel jacket. Later this year, we get the Marvels, and who is Monica Rambeau but a dark-skinned woman who is taking on her own role in this whole thing, and I think this is awesome. Shout out to Kevin Feige and that team because they get it. They get it. This whole term of woke, that's not that term. It's inclusion. It's in the books. Just read a book. Because like Vivian said, the books are our friends. So I think I think this is an awesome thing when you have someone. Now I read your bio and you're saying that you had run-ins with celebrities, like I think it said Marvel celebrities.
I've met like most of the Avengers.
When you say
Nice.
Yeah. I got this jacket because every once in a while someone thinks I'm an influencer, and so I was
roll with it.
I roll with it, and so I did some stuff with Captain Marvel when it first came out, and that's why I got this.
Nice.
And yeah, like I've got to be around like on the carpet for like Infinity War and meet some like the casts of different things, which is and I've met the Russo brothers, and they're so cool. They direct Avengers, and I told them, I'm like, look, just give me like a couple years. I know there's gonna be Phase 10, like this is gonna go on forever. So just like remember me because you're gonna cast me at some point.
They are cool. And I humble brag. They're actually from Cleveland, which I'm living in. I live in Cleveland, and they are actually hometown boys. Now, I'm not a hometown boy of Cleveland. I've just been living here for almost 20 years. But they are like hometown boys here from Cleveland, Ohio. Before Fan Expo bought out Wizard World, they actually were here. I believe it was the year Civil War was coming out.
Oh.
So it was them, it was Chris Helmsworth, it was Frank Grillo, it was David Tennant was there, it was two of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were there, Elizabeth Huntress was there, Chloe Bennett was there. It was bananas.
Nice.
And it was standing room only because once the Russo brothers were getting ready to do their set, Chris Helmsworth had done his set, his panel earlier, like an hour earlier, but he never left. And no one else was getting in that room. Like Thor's in the room. ladies is tripping over their feet and guys is tripping over their feet and everyone's tripping over their feet. I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to see the directors, but it doesn't help that I would see Thor too. So, but yeah, I think it's cool that you have that level of you're very humble. I love that. And
I
you
mean,
do.
I'm not like for real famous yet, so I got plenty of time to stay humble.
So what is other than possibly being in a Marvel project, rephrase that, other than being in a future Marvel project, what is I'm putting it out there in the air
Put
for
it out there. Put it out in existence.
Speak it into existence.
there you go. What other projects or what other directors would you love to work with?
Oh, okay. So I'm obsessed with A24, especially after Everything Everywhere All at Once. As soon as I saw that film, I literally was like putting it all over social media. They're gonna win so many awards, and so I was very gratified when they pretty much swept the Oscars. Cause
Facts.
oh, so
They
good.
Shout
It
out again
was
to Auntie Michelle Yeoh. She's kind of married into the family, I guess, of Blurs, and we've been following her for years. So we were just like, what took y'all so long? We've been here. We've always known she was the stuff. Like y'all took forever. Kiwi Kwan, like we were just waiting for him to show up. Like we knew about these people. Brendan Fraser, of course, he's the awkward boyfriend of our barbecue. So whatever.
Like we said, he's the white man that gets brought to a cookout and his eyes get open to culinary delights. This is what you do with potato salad. This is what you do. This is immaculate.
They show his two boys at the Oscars, and it's funny because they said, one, they look exactly like their father. Two, they're both tall like their father. Three, one looks like he could be in a vampire film because of the way his hair is and his style of dress, and the other one looked like he could be in some kind of romantic film or action film. And I'm like, they got it honest. What can we say? Brendan Fraser himself, we seen how he looked on his way on the redemption tour, basically on his award tour. And he's literally like in fighting shape now. If you look at him maybe 6 to 8 months ago, maybe a year at best, different guy. So we've talked about that at great lengths, and it's been a great ride. It's been a great ride to watch him and Michelle Yeoh, and we're still waiting on, yes, I'm going to say it, Cinematic Assassin. We're still waiting on the Queen to get her just due. We don't necessarily need it for that because we know that the Queen deserves her just due. But
how many days has it been since Angela Bassett was mentioned, Will?
It's been less
zero.
than a week. It's
We're still back at zero. Okay.
We're back at zero. Keep trying to turn. I did. Wait, y'all mentioned it. I didn't say it.
It's still Queen. It's still
I guess the Queen. I guess Queen still counts. All right, we're just roll it back.
Gets mentioned in every single episode somehow.
We have a reason to put the Queen in every episode.
I think that's fair.
See, someone agrees with me.
we all felt it. We all felt it at that Oscars. It was just like, and again, this is no shade on Jamie Lee Curtis, but understand, what more does this woman have to do?
Yeah. Oh, I kind of had thoughts about that because I have, I'm in the acting community, so I hear all different sides of these things. And I'm like, okay, clearly Angela went above and beyond with a Marvel film and did like real Oscar-worthy scenes and deserves it. But then it was brought up to me that, okay, Jamie Lee has been in this industry forever. And kind of like when Leonardo won for The Revenant, he won for The Revenant, but he kind of won for his career.
Yeah.
Lifetime achievement.
Yeah, kind of like that. So like that's the vibe people were telling me about Jamie Lee's win, because she hasn't had as many like Oscar bait type movies.
Okay.
So like this might be that opportunity for her. So I'm like sad for Angela, but I guess from that perspective, I understand why maybe voters went that way. And also the Oscars loves crazy transformations. Yeah. So like think Halle Berry, Charlize Theron, they have to go like super ugly and like super just opposite.
I'm not gonna lie, Charlize Theron was
was a transformation for Monster, right?
I did,
Yeah.
because you
Even Brendan
really didn't.
Fraser.
Yeah, those were that, which says a lot about makeup nowadays, like special effects and makeup, like practical special effects. It seems to be a comeback now. They're like even in the world of Star Wars, they're learning the balance. When I mention Star Wars and I say balance, but they're learning the balance of using when to use CGI and when to use puppet work. Because there's a home for everything, you know. As we know in the prequels, they really went overboard. I mean, they were really testing the waters with CGI. True. They really were. They were going like, I'm like, okay, when it doesn't age well, you know. But at the time, we thought it was okay. Didn't age well at all. So
PlayStation 2 graphics right here.
Oh man,
I wasn't gonna say it, but dang.
Yeah. I think when there's too much CGI, it like makes people dizzy.
This is true.
Watching like after a while, I'm just like, where am I?
It's like the eyes were not meant to watch 8K at 120 frames per second.
Yes,
we're not
eyes are darting back and forth and everything. You're like, why do I have a headache? You know. So yeah, I think what we have here is not just a burgeoning movie star. We have a very competent and very confident movie star. So when they say, "Hey, you guys know Vivian the Ways," yeah, she was on the show. She came on the show. You know, she graced us with a present. Yeah.
I have her signed Marvel jacket right now.
So I'm glad you mentioned the Upright Citizens Brigade. That's actually a troop I haven't heard from in a while, at least in major media runs. But I'm very familiar with the Upright Citizens Brigade because much like I can't remember the players that's like here on the East Coast. But a lot of them end up going to like Saturday Night Live or
Saturday Night Live even has like a scholarship for UCB students and like mentorship programs. Because so many alums like Eggy, I'm saying her handle, Ego Wodem.
Oh yeah.
She's from UCB, and like I remember when I was back when I was in classes, like going to watch her team perform, and to see her go from like performing on stage to like being on SNL is insane.
That's
pretty cool.
Damn. That's that's cool.
No, it's like I get starstruck. Like I never met her. I would just go watch as a student, but like it makes it feel real. Like, okay, this is actually possible. And then she's Nigerian and I'm Nigerian American, so like it was like, oh my gosh. Wait, we could do this.
Yes. I think, and this is something that, like, especially with this platform I created, putting a lot of showcasing, a lot of shine on POC creatives who work in entertainment, who work in comics, who work in television, and just because from writers to nerdcore artists to actors, cosplayers, and everything in between, we don't get a lot of recognition. We don't get seen enough, you know, or the projects we do see, we don't know who's behind the scenes that help bring these things to light. You know, shout out to 9B Collective, shout out to Carl Jones and his whole, and We Are Martian Bees. Shout out to these people, Laren DeJeanette, who brought us Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, and One Saturday Morning skits in between the cartoons. They, you know, we don't get a lot of these flowers. Is that the word I'm looking for? The flowers, or the recognition. to say, hey, you'd be surprised who created that, you know, because they're always used to seeing the opposite, you know. They're used to seeing, and then they're assuming it's the opposite. So, you know, Vivian, I love that you're out there. And now when I see the Wayfair commercial again, like, hey,
we know her.
Like I know her. I spoke to her. I know her. I know her
when she was just Wayfair girl.
Just Wayfair.
Right.
Let me go ahead and clear out my Wayfair cart while I'm thinking about this.
Right. So
say that louder so they hire me again.
Yeah. Hire the Wayfair girl again. Hire me back.
She reminded me I need to update my bathroom.
I do want to get a new couch. Yeah, so I want a Shakes Lounge now. I want to Chase Lounge. I don't know
I
why.
always wanted a Keurig.
So, you know, being in LA for you and acting and just growing up in LA, and you're not from Nigerian parents, and your mother's a scientist. What kind of type of scientist is she?
So my mom works as a pharmacist, but she came up as a chemist.
Mm. You
She
know,
also speaks 5 languages, so I just feel like an
oh,
idiot all the
Ooh.
time.
Ooh.
You
what
know?
languages does she speak?
Okay,
Ooh.
so English,
Mhm.
Igbo, Polish, because she did her master's in Poland, because
Mhm.
Of course. Like,
Just like
why
why
not?
every African goes straight to Poland. um, she also speaks French, and she knows a little bit of Spanish, but the four she's fluent in. Spanish she knows here and there.
So your mom
Hey,
is
Big Bird.
just
Brilliant.
woo. She's
And
brilliant, but I can only imagine just like, woo. I'm sorry. I'm just in my mind. It's like you ain't gonna be able to say nothing to her. You won't be able to.
Yeah.
You can't even.
You can't say chupa me bolas, firme la bouche. You can't say.
You can't say
oh my gosh,
nothing.
Yeah,
I
Don't get
remember
me
I would
wrong.
come.
I'm very limited in my French. I
Don't
feel
get
in
me
high
wrong.
school. I'm very
Your
limited, but I've picked
mom
up
is
a
a
lot.
your mom is a very accomplished woman, but ooh, you ain't gonna be able to match that. That's a mountain you can't match.
Never. And she's an angel.
Mhm.
I'm like, so my decision was I can't compete with that, so I'm gonna be an actor and make TikToks. I'm just not even gonna try.
You said, you know what? I don't need that type of that pressure
That's
in my
like-
life.
Well,
You
I'm
know,
like, she's an angel. I can be halfway decent.
you know,
don't get me
Vivian-
wrong. It's like you know, that's a humble brag on your part, but you know, your mom's accolades. It's like I see why you went the route you went because
Vivian is pretty much like,
Don't you put that on us!
yeah, you know, she's I'm not gonna put myself under that
Right.
type of pressure.
Yeah.
I think it's dope. It's dope.
Yeah. that's dope if you want to, but yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, I remember I was struggling. People think I'm smart sometimes, and I got put in a pre-calc class that I failed twice, and they still kept telling my guidance counselor was for sure I was going to make it at some point. I'm not good at math. Didn't get it. And I would tell this to my mom, like, oh my gosh, I'm really struggling. And she's like, I had to learn pharmacy in another language
Oh, there's the hardship.
on
hardship
another
challenge.
continent
Damn.
while on a full ride scholarship that I could lose with a low GPA. So tell me about this pre-calc problem
Yeah.
you're struggling with.
Damn.
African parents, you ain't gonna match hardships.
No.
You ain't matching hardships.
She hit her with the, you know what? I had to walk 10 miles in a 6-foot snowstorm. That's what I had to do with no
Uphill.
shoes
Yeah,
Wait,
no,
in a
wait, can I-
windbreaker.
One shoe.
And can I add to this? My mom was also a former refugee,
Mm.
and my dad was a child soldier. So I have no room to complain about anything ever.
Ooh,
Mm.
you couldn't.
But there's a great story there. But good Lord, that's a lot of pressure.
You have no safety net. None. Your safety net is lacking.
Like
I mean-
if I don't become like a movie star, TV star, I'm just a waste because
Oh,
like
Lord.
They gonna be.
that's
They gonna.
nothing.
I mean, I'm sure your parents are great people, but just you can't compare nothing.
Yeah.
You can't
I
compare.
mean,
you can't compare a bad day.
Yeah, it's an amazing background that they've come from. Like,
Mhm.
you know, just from the hardships alone, and then to see where they are now. That's an amazing feat.
Right.
So shout out to them for that. That's an amazing thing. They raised a wonderful woman. That's for sure. But
But
man, that is a very high bar. That
There
is
is
a
a bright-
very high
There is
bar.
a bright side. There is a bright side because if she does become the future movie star that we know she will be,
Man.
you know, somewhere in a movie theater, here goes her mom. I gave birth to her. That's all she'll say.
I knew she could do it. I knew she could do
That's
it.
all you'll get.
I believed in her. I told her to keep going.
Mhm.
Oh my god. So we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna go get into our news section. Vivian, will you be able to stick around and talk a little bit?
I gotta go because I gotta help with some auditions.
Okay.
But
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We gotta get that movie. We gotta get that movie
Gotta get
star
that movie.
going. So,
Right.
but tell everybody where they
Clutch
can find
pearls.
you. Clutch the pearls.
Just pearls. Yeah.
I like this. I like this.
I am online on every social media platform at Vivaciously Viv, VIVACIOUSLYVIV. I don't know why I went with something that no one can spell, but oh, there it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
So everybody can really see it. You know?
So
Everybody can
everyone can see it. I post some fashion, some get ready with me, some comedy, some occasional blurred stuff. I like to rep for the pretty girl blurs, like the ones people don't realize are into that stuff because we're covered in makeup.
PGB.
Yeah, the PB, it can't spell. PB. And just running my mouth and letting words come out, and hopefully they're coherent. So yeah, you can get more of that online there, and hopefully a screen near you in the next couple months.
Yes, and until
All
then,
right.
go to Wayfair. When you're ordering your stuff from Wayfair, put Vivian Wednesday as your contact and as your reference, and
Right.
then they will
Like,
should
I bought
clearly
this
get
couch
back to you.
because
Yeah.
of Vivian.
Yes. So
I can see that. The girl on the couch. The girl on the couch that was in the commercial.
Jumping all over
Just
it.
like her.
That's gonna
Right.
be at least one person.
right. So Vivian, thank you so much for stopping by, giving us your time. It's you have a great background. You have a great story. I mean, your parents sound amazing and hard to take on. But at the same time, hearing those human stories like that they do kind of form the people like yourself into what they are going to be later on in life. So I think that's dope that they have that high standard for you. Don't put yourself under that pressure. You're doing just fine.
You really are, because
I gave up on that after high school, so
just tell your mother, like, it's not pre-calc is not. Don't feel bad because I'm not a pre-calc. I'm like, that's not my window. I don't need math to do this, Mom. I don't need any math.
After a couple Marvel movies, I'll hire people to do that for me.
There it
I
is.
mean, if we're being honest, I failed every math class I took from high school to college, so I think she just kind of gave up.
Oh,
It says you're consistent.
That's a
I
rate.
am
Right?
consistent.
You can use that.
Mom
I'm
just felt a
consistent.
twinge in her back. She doesn't know why. She's oof.
Yeah, seriously, any Africans watching, like, I still graduated with honors, so.
Let's give her that. Hold on.
That's all you need. Just that part. That part is where you're safe.
That's
That's the safe part.
Don't start telling, these American kids. Don't do all that.
That's a she only graduated. No honors. Magna cum laude?
Oh my God.
It's like you trust me. Been down that route. I understand.
So Vivian, I'm gonna let you go, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming on. Don't forget us when you get that Marvel gig. Kevin Feige, she's waiting. I'm just saying.
Well, thanks so much for having me. This was fun.
Hey, I would love to have you back. Just reach out to me. I'll make a door open for you. Yeah, I know a guy that knows a guy. So thank you again for coming on. I gave you this applause again.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
So we are going to take our commercial break. Let me get that here. There we go. Take our commercial break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the blurred news, and then after that, most underrated movies, superhero films that are not Marvel and DC. Thank you once again, Vivian, for coming on.
Welcome back to Fast Money, y'all. We getting ready to teammate done scored enough points. I think you just need to get one answer right to win. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, name a podcast. Blurred's Eye View. Who should have won that Oscar? Angela Bassett. Who did win the Oscar? Don't give a damn. Name a cartoon. Ed, Edd n Eddy. Name a guest from question 1. Carl Jones. Alright, that did it. Congratulations, you won the Hellspawn cosplay. Now, we only need a one name. Hieroglyphics. You can stop now. Josh Evans. Chase Bogan. Josh Brown. Y'all cut the commercial. He gonna be out for a while. Blurred's Eye View. Be sure to peep the podcast on all platforms, or stream every episode on Always Press Record TV. APR TV now downloadable on Amazon and Roku. APR TV, the power of podcasting in the palm of your hand. Get it today.
All right, let's get the boys back in here. The boys are back in town. We have been within 24 hours, literally, have been bombarded with a lot of news. And guess what? We're the crew to bring it to you. But first off, I need to ask you guys something.
What's up?
What does an old school Western poker dealer and a newspaper editor have in common?
They need pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's gonna go with that.
That's about right, because Vince McMahon coming out here with this mustache.
Ooh, wow.
Man,
I had no idea where this was going, but somehow I was right.
Is it me, or is he trying to audition for Narcos?
There's so many. I called him Snidely Whiplash. J. Jonah Jameson. He looks like them old school dealers you see on the riverboats in Louisiana with the bands around their arms.
Not the car lot with the messed up cars.
Yeah, you know.
He looks like the antagonist lawyer in a season of Better Call Saul.
I was gonna say every lawyer from every Law and Order episode, but that works too.
Yeah. But before we jump into the news, since I brought up Vince McMahon, okay, Will, Black Spartan, I know you wrote the Raw article, and I got to throw that up. But
Ben, are we ready? Are we ready, Ben? Because I just want to go ahead and get the plane. Are we ready just to go ahead and play as the ship's going down?
Yeah, like I heard so much bad about the Raw episode, and they said I said, I'm like, if you're hearing this about the Raw episode from last night, that says a lot about what happened from what Triple H has brought since he's taken over to what Vince has taken over. And then on top of that, the WWE has been bought by the UFC parent company Endeavor.
Welcome to the end.
What?
Welcome to the end. Vince has done it. Vince has done what Vince has done has taken a storyline and made it real life.
He did say, if anybody's gonna destroy it, it's gonna be me.
And he did.
Good Lord,
but he did it in such a.
I'm sorry.
It's such a sneaky way, because under the current deal, he couldn't come back as the head of creative. Triple H could, unless the company was sold. That's the byline. So because the company got sold to Endeavor, Tricky Vince has now become back into creative, and if you were watching Raw, it had Vince's fingerprints all over it.
It does not look good. And with that being said,
damn,
let's get into it. WrestleMania 2-day episode, literally. I will say this: from what I've seen, what I've heard, because I didn't watch it in its entirety, Shane McMahon came back, got injured with Snoop Dogg, took over.
Wow.
As jaded as it looked, it wasn't planned that way.
No,
like Shane McMahon literally got injured. He tore a quad.
Freak accident.
And Snoop actually seen, I don't want to call it an opportunity, but he's seen a moment where the show must go on.
Yeah.
And he made sure the show went on. So you can tell it wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't, just watching Snoop, who's in his early, 51? He's 51?
Yeah.
And do
Wait,
that.
Sorry, pause. Question. We're talking about Snoop Dogg?
Yes.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop D-O-double-G.
We're not talking about Charlie Brown Snoop.
Was in the squared circle?
Yes.
In the square circle.
He was fighting Shane.
Shane McMahon was going against the Miz. The Miz was in the ring.
Okay.
And so, confrontation, and Shane McMahon from the mean streets of Greenwich Village and all that other stuff. I'm like, dude, you can't do that anymore. But I will commend Snoop, because Snoop's one of these guys that he's in everything.
Yeah.
He's a walking epitome of get the bag.
Snoop has won the game of life. This is just side quest now.
Yeah.
Right.
Like one minute he's
all it
seen
is.
wrestling, the next minute he's in the kitchen with Martha Stewart cooking up some stuff. The next minute he's on the beach drinking a Corona. The next minute he owns Death Row. I'm like, the man is doing what he's living life.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a star on the Walk of Fame. Like the man is living life. Who would have thought it? Talk about somebody said, "Oh, you can't do that because you're in this particular realm of life," and he was just like, "Hold my Corona." I'm sorry, what's that? Just watch.
He literally just came in. I mean, where else can you do an elbow drop on national syndicated television and then crip walk your way out the ring?
Yeah.
And nobody's none the wiser.
None the wiser. Shout out to Rey Mysterio finally getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Well deserved, well earned. Good Lord. Despite the storyline that he has between him and his son Dominic, if you paid attention, you can see Dominic was fighting back tears.
Yeah,
he was literally, and it was good. It was one of those Roman Reigns one that was. I don't have anything against Roman Reigns. I really don't. But when the way they set up Cody Rhodes, the whole thing,
the setup was great. The match was great. The finish was terrible.
Exactly.
Because I was telling somebody else, we wouldn't have been mad about Roman retaining, but it's the same thing in every pay-per-view. People are going to get tired of that. So it's like, we knew Cody Rhodes from Jump Street. They were like, yeah, they're going to fast track him for the title.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, the beautiful thing about wrestling is the story you tell in the ring. If you tell a great story in the ring, people remember it. If you tell a bad story in the ring, people remember it. But what gets talked more? The matches that actually made you get back into wrestling, or the matches that made you stop watching wrestling?
Yeah. Shout out to Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Who not only still has her title, but there's a young lady whose mother actually passed away earlier that day. One of the little girls that danced with her, she's a contortionist, and her mom passed away earlier that day, and Bianca brought her out and danced with her, and fight back the freaking tears. Why don't you? This arc for this season is insane. It's hitting folks in ways unimaginable. It's going to continue.
It hit Triple H when he was talking about it. I said,
yeah.
You saw the way he was talking about it. He was about to break down and cry. I'm like, he gets it. So
yeah. So but once again, for what they had, Rhea Ripley, congratulations. Let Triple H continue handling then again, with this buyout, who knows?
But that's the thing. That's the thing where it's like at the beginning of Raw, where he's like, "Well, we understand nothing." It's like that boss that knows that a lot of people are about to get fired, but is trying to tell the company, "Hey, nothing's changing. Everything is fine.
We're a family."
We're family. We look out for each other. Don't notice the moving furniture and the blazing fire back there.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
So it's just like you get all this, and then Raw was 90% promos, 10% matches, and it's 3 hours long. 3 hours. I mean, everybody argues that Raw is 3 hours. It's really 1 hour too long. But imagine that 90% promos, 10% matches. Do you even want to look at if you're a person that's an advertiser right now and you just spend your money on WWE, you're kind of mad because nobody's watching.
Yeah. In other news, we have been, I don't want to say slammed. We weren't slammed, but we were given some treats.
Buffet, if you will.
A buffet. A buffet of movie trailers, not just movie trailers, but series trailers. One of the first ones we got was Secret Invasion. This is something fans have been clamoring for. This one, they've been waiting for this one. We're gonna watch this one. Shout out to Disney Plus. We've been waiting on Nick to come back for quite some time, and we're going to watch him right now.
since you've been gone, things have gotten much worse. Why do you think I came back?
You're in no shape for this fight that lies before us, old friend.
This is personal.
Very few of us know about the wars fought in the shadows that have raged on this planet. Do you feel responsible?
Where are the Avengers? This war is one I have to fight. Alone. You're the most wanted man on the planet.
You don't know what they have planned for you.
The great Nick Fury. One last fight.
Yes.
June, you son of a bitch. Can't get here quick enough. There's a lot of takeaways in this one. There are a lot of takeaways in this one. And my God, have they been doing their homework?
All I saw was Quake, and I was happy.
Yeah,
We finally got.
We got Quake. We got Quake. If there's a little blink and you miss it, we see something being opened up by damage control, and it says Cole on it, so it could be the hand of Cole Obsidian from Infinity War. It's I'm like you, Geek by Heart. I'm hyped. We finally get some freaking answers. Well, somewhat.
Some answers, but yes.
It's like I think I don't know who's directing this, and I have to look into it because I don't know if they have the same director for all the episodes. But one thing I noticed about the MCU, they do espionage and spy thrillers very well, to the point where you really forget this is a Marvel Universe type thing. Captain America Winter Soldier is a prime example of a very good superhero movie / spy thriller without realizing you're watching a superhero film. Just very well put together. I'm gonna be watching it again for Quake because I
miss Quake too somehow.
She kept mentioning it. Chloe Bennett. She kept mentioning it over the past few months that you might be seeing me. Oh, you might be. And I'm like, are we getting the tie-in back? Are we tying them back in? Like, do we need to?
Well, not to answer that one. I think it's a safe test because you're going with Chloe just because you can tie her to Secret Invasion, but you are kind of tying in Coulson because if you're trying to bring back Shield, that's a nice tie-in because technically Coulson's not dead.
He's not.
Coulson isn't dead.
He's not. If you've watched all 5 seasons, 6, seven seasons of Shield, you know that Coulson is not dead. You got to stick with it.
But to answer your question about Secret Invasion, it's actually a handful of directors. One of them being Samuel L. Jackson is actually directing one of the episodes.
Oh,
nice.
Shit.
So
I tip my hat to you, sir.
That's when we get our motherfucker.
Yep. That's gonna be. You'll know it's gonna be that episode if he directs it. Just there'll be a lot of close mothers.
Every time they do that, it cut to the scene. It looks great. It's if you've read any of the Secret Invasion, and this is for the fans out there who's listening and haven't picked up a comic. This is no slight to you, but I'm telling you, get Secret Invasion.
Yep, it's only eight issues. I mean,
yeah, it's a wild freaking ride.
Mhm.
Now it's not exactly what the show is going to be, but this is a wild. Secret Invasion was a wild ride. It made
was. I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. It was a wild ride because it really did start making you question certain things. Like, oh yes, I haven't seen that hero in a while. Maybe they are a scroll.
But
and yeah, so
but there is one thing I don't know if they're going to, if they do it or if not, because there was one central character that did come up with the device to detect who is human and who's a scroll. And I do not know if they want to introduce Mr. Fantastic or give that to another character, because for all those, and not to spoil it for you guys, but yes, in the series, Mr. Fantastic develops the device that determines who's a scroll and who's not. And technically, we've only seen one inclination of Mr. Fantastic so far in the MCU. This
would be a hell of a way to say, hey, this is Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Because nobody would see it coming. I mean, but like you said, Chris, they may go left, they may omit certain details. I mean, it's the MCU. Yeah. We already know it's going to be a spy thriller. If it was me, there's so many things they can introduce. They could introduce the Thunderbolts. They could introduce the Savage Land. They could introduce really the Hand. They could introduce the Hood. Again, this is all elements from the comic book storyline. So let me stress that very heavily.
I have a slight theory that I haven't worked it all the way out, but they showed a damage control case. Yeah, and it has Cole on it, so we know it's Cole hoping it's Cole Obsidian from Infinity War, the big one, the big giant one, a part of Thanos' Black Army. His hand did get cut off. No one even questioned where the hand went. It got cut off. Nobody questioned where it happened. Yeah,
got picked up.
This is how we end up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They just take anything. But I could imagine them saying, "Oh, this is a quote unquote super scroll," because they need to at least see or touch something to kind of take on. Well, we've seen the scrolls kind of look at people and take on that form,
right?
But I think in the case of this, they might need the DNA. Oh shit, theory's really working out now. There it is.
That's why I didn't say it. There it is. And he's reached that conclusion.
There it is. You son of a bitch. Y'all can't keep messing with stuff. Y'all can't keep messing with stuff. That's all I'm saying. You son of a bitches. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm excited that there was not a single joke or moment of levity.
True. And I'm okay with that.
It's really supposed to be super. It's not uber dark, but it's like and this is why. And we all talked about this. This is Marvel delving away from the blue sky, open, happy storytelling and getting into the grittier, darker storytelling.
I mean, even Guardians Volume 3 is going there. So you're still going to get some level of comedy, of course. But yeah, even they're like, oh, y'all think we were done with Endgame? Oh no,
we're gonna make y'all mad. We really make you mad.
Kleenex is about to have a stock jump like you wouldn't believe. Like you thought COVID was the one that made the toilet paper go up. Wait till this happens.
The MCU would do wise to look at Harry Potter. Like those first two films are very much more for children, or I guess the desired demographic when they came out. Yeah. And that series evolved with the target audience. It didn't stay like this is just for children. These are children's books. It's like, no, the entire series kept aging up with the characters. Yeah. I feel like it's time for the MCU to sort of take that next step. Yeah. It's like we don't have to aim it towards tweens anymore.
Yeah. Because y'all grew up. Y'all grew up. It's been over 10 years. It's been over 10 years. Y'all have grown up. If you see this at 10 years old,
no more.
y'all in your 20s now. You're in your 20s, so the softness that's gone, baby.
let us introduce you to the darker side of Marvel. It's like Marvel hit college years. Like let me hit you to reality.
Right. So we also got a chance to check out Jaime Reyes. Close that one. Jaime Reyes, which is Blue Beetle. So DC dropped the Blue Beetle trailer, which looks amazing, and we're going to check that one out as well. Get that share up there, and here we go on that one.
Excuse me, Mr. Reyes. You finished scraping the gum off that lounger or what?
Everything right now feels so out of reach.
You always land on your feet, bro. You're Jaime.
They don't get out much. I just want to rap. Jenny.
Go and give it to your wife, but do not open it. You went in to get us jobs, and all you brought back was a hamburger?
Okay, I don't think it's a burger.
You haven't looked?
What the hell is that?
How did you get it to do that?
I think he likes me.
Get it out! Get it out! Herman.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. What the?
Host acquired.
Who said that? It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
Re-entry systems ready.
Wait, no.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
What is going on?
I just want to rock.
It's called the Scarab. It's some kind of world-destroying weapon. It's designed to protect its host.
This ain't what you want.
Sometimes it does what you want, and sometimes it doesn't.
I think I cut a bus in half.
The Scarab chose you, but it belongs to me.
That love you feel for your family makes you weak.
I just want to rock. You gon' kill my dog, stand on my money, don't lose my side.
The universe has sent you a gift, and you have to figure out what you're gonna do with it.
That's my heart. 1, 2, 3, 4, throw up to 5.
Whatever you can imagine, I can create.
Let's party.
Nice choice.
I just want to rock.
Whoa. It's like Batman stuff. Batman's a fascist.
I just want to rock.
Gotta say, I do enjoy. It's something about. Well, number one, this looks good. It's giving me Guyver. It's giving me Guyver. It's giving me body horror a little bit. The colors is popping. I like. James Gunn has actually gone on the record and said this looks like it's going to make it into his universe. Because let's face it, it's probably been the only project that said that had no other ties other than that. And I also have another question. I wonder if that's the same voice actress of the Scarab. I wonder if that's the same one from Young Justice. Because this sounds very similar. I need to find out.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
which would be a nice touch.
Yeah, it would be a nice touch. But no, the suit actually does look great. I like the fact I have I know you're probably I know Chris, you're probably gonna bring this up, but I just like the fact that it is unapologetically Latino. I freaking love it.
We are entering an age of POC heroes that are undeniably here. You can't force them away. You can't deny them anymore. Black, Afro, Latino, Latinx, you name it, they are here. Get over it. It's happening. It's here. Get over it.
It is beautiful. And I was like, and of course, I stay on the dark side of Twitter. oh, they're making this all woke. I said, no, it's not woke, because if you've read, and we find ourselves saying this a lot on this show, if you've read a comic,
hell, if you've watched Young Justice, I mean, it's just
it is, if not equal, it's just the same. And it's like, well, they didn't do Ted Cord. No, okay, stop.
We don't even know. We know Cord Industries is in the film. We've seen
right,
the villain.
considering the fact of the villain. I was like, I peeped the villain a long time ago.
Yes, exactly. It's his wife. So like, who's to say theory incoming?
Right.
Who's to say that she didn't take the company from him and he's in hiding?
Exactly. But it's amazing to me where it's like they already want to start. I'm not saying it giving it the Shazam 2 approach where they want to immediately start bombing it and things of that nature. I'm like, give it its due. It looks great. We were worried about the suit. We find out the suit looks freaking awesome. At the same time, from the storylines, it seems to be following the current run of Blue Beetle. Yeah. Graduation Day, I believe, with the name of the run. But I got no complaints. It looks great.
That transformation is so Guyver to me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it looks painful and fearful. And then once it's there, it's there.
Yeah. Just love the whole. Just at the end, Batman's a fascist. I'm like, I have never seen so many Batman fans come out of the group.
You kind of sit back and be like, however, I'm not going to argue with you. I ain't going to say you're wrong.
I mean, as a Batman fan, I'm like, yeah. It's like,
right.
I mean, you're not.
But that also helps the world feel real and lived in. Like everyone wouldn't 100% like be on Batman's side, just point blank period.
I mean, look at Peacemaker. I mean, that's the fact. Just the fact of that whole dialogue between the neighbor and John Cena's character. Batman doesn't kill anybody. Batman is a. You know why he doesn't kill anybody? Because he's a. If he did, he wouldn't have half the rows running his freaking.
At which point you're looking at him, you're looking at Peacemaker, you're like, you make good valid points. You really do.
Dang it.
You make valid points. I mean, we've said we're Batman fans, but at the same time,
you got points. It's like even Jason Todd is looking at Batman like one dude. Just one guy.
The rest of them are okay. It's just this one. It's just the one. The other one sets crazy traps. One, he sits in the shadows and he's always plotting. He's a Mexican wrestler, but still, we just need you to get rid of the crazy run.
But that's the thing about it, where it's like I don't want Blue Beetle to get that same thing. Not to say that Shazam 2 doesn't deserve it. From what I've heard, a lot of great things. Just that in the world of reviews and instant gratification, they seem to shoot down stuff. Yeah. Do I think it's going to happen with Blue Beetle? I don't think so, because this is, again, as a DC fan, I want DC to put out quality stuff, and this looks like it will set the tone. But like I said, I'm can't wait to see it this summer.
Like Cinematic Assassin said, that suit looks clean. When we were seeing behind the scene pictures, that suit is clean. It's very clean.
And
somebody. No, go ahead.
This trailer just has an energy and like a vibrance, like a fun that I feel like Shazam 2 just did not come across to me.
Missed the mark.
Yeah. So I feel like this is going to be a rough one for everyone that wants to signal the superhero fatigue. Like, like that's not it.
But it does got to go into that theory. If you write something that's close to the origin of the character by those who are origins of that character, who can write about that character, the story makes sense. I mean, that's why we look at Blue Beetle. It's like, oh, that is all the way Latino, from the family being involved to George Lopez being a part of this. I know he's there for comedy relief, but when you see all those elements, I mean, it's going to make for a great story. It really is.
This is why I love seeing POC representation in these forms. Instead of having the negative connotations that's attached to them. When you see stuff like this, you're just you don't even have to be Latino to cheer them on, because you're saying, just like you cheered us on for Black Panther, we're cheering you on because now we want that. We want that for you, you know, and it just because you feel you're included.
Exactly.
You're included.
If you've ever been to a Latino cookout, you're included.
Oh,
let me stress this very heavily. If you've ever been to a Latino cookout and you cool, bruh,
let me tell you something. I'm trying to see if I can find it again, because I've been to obviously a Black cookout, but I've been to a Latino cookout too, and it was in the same weekend. When I say, I'm like, go to work Monday,
you can't get up.
I need to pick this phone up. What you doing? Recuperating. It ain't even it's not even the liquor. It's just the vibe. It's the food. It's
the food.
Oh my God.
I'm having flashbacks. Ooh, the food. No, Will, you don't understand. They don't believe in the word full. You don't get full.
It's just like it's like when you had the Black family get together, the barbecue or the family reunion. Full. No, take some home. You have food. I went home with food.
You don't go home on a single take home plate.
It was the following Saturday when I actually ran out. But then again, I was really overdoing it. But I was like,
and I mean, like you said, like you said, Chris, it not just the food, but like you said, the vibe. It's welcoming. They don't treat you like outsiders. They welcome you They welcome you, man, like family members. Like I said, if you cool and you get invited, that's the whole vibe, and that's why I think going back to Blue Beetle is what makes this movie. It, like you said, it includes everybody. It's not just speaking to the Latinos, Latinx folks out there. It's also speaking to us as well. So it's like, and this is the reason, like you have said, Will has said, even Kira has said, it is amazing what happens when you get those that understand the culture, that can write the story, and the story itself welcomes everybody.
That's it.
Right. That's it.
That's the beauty right there. That right there. And since this was a nice segue into Latin and Black communities coming together, got another little, do they say little ditty anymore? I don't know. Little trailer, little ditty.
Little ditty.
Don't ask me where that came from.
That's a little ditty.
But this one we were waiting for as well. This one is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And here we go. Yeah, part 1.
What's up, danger?
My name is Miles Morales. I'm Brooklyn's one and only Spider-Man. And things are going great.
Oh, yeah. You were supposed to be here at 5.
All right, whatever.
Whatever?
Wow.
Whatever?
So are you like a cow or a Dalmatian?
I am the Spot. It's not funny.
Don't do that.
Miles's grades are pretty good. A in AP Physics.
That's my little man.
And a B in Spanish.
What? Ooh, okay.
Miles.
Are you trying
Mira,
to
eso es imposible.
Bye.
He's lying to you. And I think you know it.
What's up, danger?
Miles! Want to get out of here?
Oh, when? So wait a minute. There's an elite crew with all the best spider people in it?
Who's the new guy?
This is unbelievable.
This is the lobby. Miguel O'Hara. The whole thing was his idea.
What's a guy got to do to join this spider team?
You can never be part of this.
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999-99.
Come on, go easy on the kid. He had a terrible teacher.
Peter.
Miles.
You have a baby?
I have a baby.
I'll take it from here. Miles, being Spider-Man is a sacrifice.
You have a choice between saving one person and saving every world.
Send me home. I can't do that.
I can do both. Spider-Man always.
Not always.
What about Uncle Ben?
If not for Uncle Ben, most of us wouldn't be here.
Can't stop me now! Can't run forever, kid.
I can't lose one more friend.
That isn't what we talked about.
You know?
I have no idea what you're doing.
Everyone keeps telling me how my story is supposed to go. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing.
All stations, stop Spider-Man.
Stupid.
And then I looked at my uncle and
Let me guess. He died.
Stupid.
There's so much to unpack. So much. One, I'm glad they're using "What's Up, Danger" again. That song in the first one, at that particular scene when he finally finds himself,
man,
it's an emotional lift, boy. It feels good because we've been there.
Yep.
And when he says that line in here, everybody is telling me where I should be and how I should be. Nah, I'm going to do it my way. Damn.
Again,
this grown ass man over here still feels it.
just the writing,
That's good writing.
Man.
That's just good writing.
Yeah,
good tonal shifts. I mean, everything. Oscar Isaac is playing Miguel O'Hara. Once again, someone who walks that redemption line very good. You know, he's on there. Seeing the different Spider people is good. We seen the Scarlet Spider. Jesus Christ, we got Ben Reilly trying. You know,
Scarlet Spider, Punk Rock. You have Spider Woman, Issa Rae.
That's a pregnant Spider Woman.
Issa Rae is getting a bag, boy.
For real. I'm rooting for everybody.
I'm rooting for everybody black, but no, it. I cannot stress this enough how good this is going to be, just off the fact of just not only are you introducing almost every Spider-Man into the same Spider-Verse universe, but I love the fact that the little nod back to multiverse, to No Way Home. It's
MCU
it's like, and I don't forget Doctor Strange, that other little nerd that almost crashed the place.
When he said it, and I was just like, oh, it does matter. No Way Home does matter.
But no, it's just the whole idea of just Miles. That's why I was telling our guys in our group chat. I said, especially got to the grades, like, oh, he got a B in Spanish. I was like, you just see his father go, ooh.
Are you trying to kill your mother?
And I gotta say, now for all those who have a mother of Puerto Rican or Latino descent, you understand that if you fail Spanish and your mom goes back into her native language, woo, run.
Shout out to our guest from earlier, Vivian, because that's when this played again. That's the first person I thought of. Like, ooh,
don't use that line.
All I heard was mira. I was like, nope, no good follows from that word.
No. And now that you left, your father got to deal with the cooling down effect. It was just that line where the teacher says he's lying to me. I don't know how they did the scene, is obviously edited, but I wonder from the last one into this one, does his father know? Does his mother know?
You know,
it'd be nice. Because we're actually in a point. If you noticed, we're in a point in the superhero lore that's being told right now, whether it's comics, because now Static Shock, his entire family knows, the neighborhood knows.
Yeah.
And that's, generally on purpose. Miss Marvel, her entire family knows, and her best friend knows. Spider-Man, his aunt, rest in peace, Aunt May, but she knows. And his friends didn't know, but we even see it in Blue Beetle. His entire family knows. So I think it takes away that edge of having to keep that secret identity, of having to have something else hidden, because all these people I've named, they're teenagers. They're in points in their life where they're not sure of themselves. They're not sure of the path they're walking on. They're not sure of any. They need some kind of support system. And to have that one extra secret.
Yeah. Especially children of color.
Yeah.
Woo.
But I think I was one of those ones after watching Into the Spider-Verse. I'm like at the end where his dad has that shocked look on his face. I'm like, he just figured out who Spider-Man was.
Yeah.
You can't do that kind of shock when he's like, wait a minute, I recognize that freaking graffiti.
Yeah.
And that's like,
and why did he hug me? And you
right.
know what I'm saying?
It was just that realization on his face, like, oh, my son is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I can't tell his mom because his mom will kill him.
Unless the mom knows, and
right.
she can't tell the father because the father is like, let that secret be between them. But I'm looking forward to that. That is definitely on my mark to check out. Like, there's times even now that I will listen to that soundtrack, and it does. It's very, that scene in the first one is very poignant. Because you see, especially when he's recalling nuggets of information that was given to him by various characters in the movie, and then he realizes they believe. I just need to believe.
Yep. Of
And
course, that whole leap of faith. That's that part right there. When it's like it's all it takes a leap of faith, and I mean, he does a half gainer off the side of the building. It's like.
A literal leap of faith. A literal leap of faith.
Don't get me wrong, with that and the angle and the music, I mean, that little lull
even
as he's going down, I mean, that all adds together.
Even the art, if you paid, like in the first one, if you paid attention and he's first getting his powers and he's clumsy, he's learning them, he was falling down.
Yeah.
And then when he gets that vote of confidence, it's almost the same scene, but it's inverted.
Yeah.
Now he's falling down, but they got the city upside down, and so he's still falling down, but in reality, he's actually rising up.
Yeah.
You know, and even the art, if you paid attention to the art in the beginning, how it looked a little hazy and shaky and whatever, and then as he gradually became into his own, and he finally accepted it and he understood, boom.
Sharp.
It was the colors were sharp, everything, the contrast, everything, and you just, damn, this is writing.
visual masterpieces, and especially again speaks to us. It's like it's one thing when it's great, but it's like going to anime. There are just certain things in anime, certain shows out there, and there's listing. You can go down the list, top 10s, whatever. We all got those moments in anime where we watch them again. It gets you. It hits you right here. It either amps you up or it amps you up, push you forward. It does something to you. It hits you at an emotional level. Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse does that every time. It's just, I don't know what it is about this particular one, but that always seems to, for me, amps me up. I know for guys it might be different for everybody else, but I know for me,
it's an amp. It's an amp for me. I mean, even, and I'm not just I'm gonna regulate it only to superhero films, but there are certain points, especially in the MCU, that I've been noticing. The death of Tony Stark. Prior to that, let's rewind that. The arrival of Black Panther, the arrival of Peter Parker, and then him hugging Tony, and then Tony dying. That shit's amazing. That shit, you felt it. You felt all those emotions. Yondu dying.
Yep.
As much as he was on Peter's ass, and then he dies, and then you realize Yondu was the father figure all this time. And then he's like, no, anybody can have a father. It takes such person to be the dad,
That's the thing. He said he might have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy, boy. I was like, oh, look at Merle. Look at Merle being the daddy.
So you just like, damn, I didn't really like you, but now you in one movie, you've managed to redeem yourself in a way I didn't expect.
I mean, Slick Volume 2 was literally Yondu's swan song. It was like that whole thing of him meeting up with the former Ravagers. Well, technically the original Guardians of the Galaxy, but still meeting up with them. And that whole story behind him and kids and Ego, I'm like, yeah, I can see that. It's like once they start going into that when they go back into that backstory, somebody got to go. Somebody's heading off to that good night.
That was intense. So those are some of the trailers that we were privy to this week. I am lined up for all of them. Movie season is heating up, of course, because who had March being the movie season to kick off?
Who you telling? I got a backlog of movies. Me and the movie theater is about to get real acquainted.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, did y'all really just have a movie every week? It's March. I'm like, I wasn't prepared for that.
Got my movie passed.
Right. Like, I'm like you, Assassin. I'm like, thank God I got this past couple movies I went to. It was free because of the movie club I'm in. I'm like, whew. Thanks, Cinemark. No.
I need to invest in that because Lord knows I'll be going through movie.
Speaking of movies that's dropping, we just got word that Ballerina will be coming out June 7th of 2024. They're already at work. Year? Yes, that's coming. John Wick spinoff. It is stated that John Wick himself, Keanu Reeves, and Ian McShane, who plays Winston, will be in the film. I'm not. I doubt they have Lance Reddick because if you've seen John Wick, then you know.
Yeah.
But I like to see where they're going. Ana de Armas is quickly, like she's in everything at this point. Like first she did Blonde, which was about Marilyn Monroe, and they said as bad as the movie was, it was never her. Yeah. They said her performance was spot on. Then she's in a Bond movie, and she's not your typical Bond girl. And now she's going to be in Ghosted with Chris Evans, and she's playing some kind of badass. Like right. she's playing. If you've seen the trailer, she's playing some kind of badass, you know. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're. Yep, we're getting another revenge movie out of that. Because they already said, she was trained over in the room of Ruska where they dealt with the ballerinas, which we were introduced to in Parabellum.
Yep.
So keep getting that John Wick cash, baby, because they already said based on it was supposed to be a 4 and a 5 anyway.
Yeah.
And then I guess 5 got taken off the table. And
we're still waiting on the Continental TV show.
Yeah. So they're doing the Continental, they're doing the ballerina. I'm sure Keanu is up for 5. They just want to get some other projects out the way. And they're gonna have it. Look, let's face it, let's be honest. If you've seen Wick, you know he's not dead.
John Wick.
Just ask dog.
Every time, just the speech just kills me. Who is John Wick? He's a man of focus. Just getting off.
I'm like, come on. I'm like, face it. All the stuff that man went through, and you telling me he just died?
I was done when he sat there and said, "I once seen him in a bar." Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Oh man. So, our main topic for the night is superhero movies, underrated superhero movies that are not Marvel and DC. And I'm going to start here. Fast Color. Fast Color is a nice. Let me pull that back up. There you go. Yeah, Fast Color is Google Mbatho Raw, and I can't remember the young actress's name, but this is a superhero film without you realizing it's a superhero film because Google's character is someone who is a telekinetic, but she can't really control her powers. She leaves her daughter with her mother, and she's gone for several years, only to find out that her daughter, when she comes back needing help, her daughter has the same abilities, and it turns out the grandmother has abilities too, and they're being chased by some shadow organization that wants them all. They're just trying to stay hidden. And this is one of those movies where it was good seeing people of color, women, kick ass, and bond, like redemption. Once again, I told you this was a thing this season, redemption. And we don't get to see a lot of that. And it was a hardly slept on film because I'm sorry, anytime I see people of color and they have abilities, I'm kind of like locked in already.
You kind of rooting, yeah, you're rooting already from Jump Street. It's like,
yeah, I'm locked in already. So that's, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's on, I want to say it's on Prime as well.
Yeah, it is
on Prime. So it's a good watch. It really is a good watch.
It does have some lighthearted moments, though. I do remember
it does.
that.
It does. It really does.
It does have lighthearted moments.
If you like Kick-Ass, you might like Defendor.
What the hell is this? Is that duct tape?
That is duct tape. That is Woody. That is Woody Harrelson with duct tape on his chest. So basically, Defendor is about this guy who he's obviously mentally ill. He's mentally ill. He's had a lot of trauma in his life. He lost his mother to someone overhearing a conversation when they mentioned the term Captain of Industry. Well, he took it as some man named Captain Industry. And he lost his mother to said Captain Industry, which his mother was a prostitute, and got killed by the pimp and all that stuff.
What is happening?
Yes.
Yeah, there's more.
Yeah. So Kat Dennings is in this movie. There's a particular scene. There's a particular scene where Defendor, he has the most broke, cost effective weaponry at hand. He's like a billy club. He has a jar full of a glass jar full of angry wasps. You know, a thing of marbles. You know, and I'm like, mace. You know, in any. These are things that would generally work if used correctly. You know, and you know, with his mental incapabilities, he finds himself quoting, you know, doing the typical hero speech type stuff. That's not necessary
at all.
He even has a dump truck that doubles as his vehicle, his mode of transportation, like a Batmobile.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's an experience.
It is.
It's an experience. If you got time, it's an experience.
Oh, you're gonna have time. You've got to make the time. You've got to make the time. Defendor.
Yep.
Defendor. It's actually good. It's actually good. Now, another one that's actually really good is Super.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Rainn Wilson as the Crimson Bolt. This is good. It starred Elliot Page, who at the time went by Ellen Page, Nathan Fillion, because Liv Tyler, Kevin Bacon, they're all in this movie, and Crimson Bolt loses his girlfriend to Kevin Bacon's character, who's a big time drug dealer and whatever. And I don't want to say loser.
Close.
But it's close. And he has a vision of Nathan Fillion, who's posed as a holier than thou superhero in his vision. And he's been told, like, oh, I've been touched by God's angels to say I have to fight crime.
In preparation for today's episode, I did start to watch this. I didn't finish it, but
it's dark.
Like, what the hell is happening? Just also, Kevin Bacon does polite and menacing mixed together very well.
Yes,
very well.
It's almost condescending a little bit, you know. It's like, I was
gonna say, if it makes you feel better, guess who was written by?
Gunn.
Yep.
Listen, 5 seconds in, when I see Sean Gunn, I'm just like, me suspects.
Don't you find that suspicious? No, it's a fun watch. His tagline is hilarious. It's just literally "shut up, crime." The scene where he's standing in line, I think he's standing in line for a movie, and someone cuts him, and he gets pissed and the guy pushes him, so he gets up and goes to his car and puts his suit on and comes back with a monkey wrench and just pops the guy in the head.
That's assault, sir.
That's assault. That's assault. You're just like, but yeah, there's some dark moments in this one. It's tongue in cheek. It's like a dark comedy. It's a dark comedy. And this is why I like James Gunn work, because I was like, he's not afraid to touch the dark stuff and still kind of make it, hilarious. Because who's running around saying "shut up, crying"? Not gonna lie though, don't let me hold you. It's probably it's a much better looking suit than Defendor's. Like,
jeez, just
he's thought this through.
one you went to Harbor Freight, and one you got from Wish.
Yeah. Take your pick. Like, Crimson Bolt thought this through. He's got pads, he's got protection, he's figured it out. He's figured it out.
And great value.
Like, this is what it is. Great value. Wish. But it all, with Wish you can work it out.
Alibaba.
Actually, this is Wish. Take that back. This is Wish.
Alibaba.
This is great value. Wish. Great value. That makes a little more sense.
Oh man.
Great value, you can make it work. Wish, you just like, it's passable. It may not work. It's like a cosplay. It'll work for tonight.
What if Wish's slogan was, "You know what this is"?
Wish is short for "I wish I hadn't spent my money."
And there's the new commercial. You can buy it from Wish. You know what this is. So another unsung superhero film, which I actually find a lot of joy in, because it's just, if you read the comics, it's funny. It's just funny. Mystery Men.
Definitely underrated.
Mystery Men is underrated in so many. Paul Ruin, Ben Stiller, Kel Mitchell, I can't think the other guy's name from Shameless. But hold on, I'll pull it up in a second. But you really do have like a who's who of Greg Kinnear. Good Lord. Greg Kinnear as Captain Amazing. He was such an asshole. He was such an asshole in this movie.
God gave me the ability to shovel. I'm great at it.
You have Greg Kinnear, you have Janine Garofalo, who's the bowler, who by the way was actually the better of the entire team.
Yeah.
And it was because of the bowling ball, which was her father's skull inside a bowling ball. It was her father's skull in spirit inside of a bowling ball. And it just made for good stuff. Paul Rubin was the spleen. His ability is his flatulence is pretty much
directed flatulence, just
directed at that, and it's bad. It's like whose power is just crazy. Kel Mitchell, who's the invisible boy who can only turn invisible when people aren't looking at him.
Yeah.
The Hank Azaria plays the Blue Raja. Fantastic aim.
Right.
Using his mother's silverware, her good silverware at that.
Using the good china. The good china.
I'm like the blue. I'm like, dude, there's so much wrong with that. You have William H. Macy as the shoveler, who, by the way, Auntie Jennifer Lewis was the wife. So
you shovel real good, baby. But stuff got you done around the house.
Yeah, very, very good moments. Ben Stiller as Mr. Furious, whose rage increases his strength, which really, or did it? I don't know.
One moment, and it's just like, oh, well, not really, but
I might have to watch this one again tonight. It's just funny to watch. You have Jeffrey Rush, who plays still probably one of the coolest off names I've ever heard, Casanova Frankenstein. It just it says so much without saying much at all.
That sounds like the title of The Weeknd's next album. Not gonna lie.
Right, okay. You get it.
Don't give the week any more ideas, Will. Don't give me any more ideas. The man already looks like he needs mental help as it is.
You have Wes Studi, who plays the Sphinx, who is who's known to cut guns in half by using his mind. Which, like, dude, you're telekinetic. Just say you're telekinetic. You don't have to add the rest.
Right.
You didn't need to say the rest, but whatever. You had Eddie Izzard, who played Tony P, who's head of the Disco Boys.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know I needed that. I could have done without the little disco dance when the henchmen show up, but whatever.
That was different.
And so it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. It's based off of comics. It's not a Marvel DC comic. It is very much it's a great value Suicide Squad.
Yeah. But nobody died.
Yeah, nobody dies.
But nobody died.
Nobody dies. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's tongue in cheek. Their mode of transportation is very, very. Here's a shrinking ray. What's the shrinking ray do? It shrinks their underwear so extremely tight they can't move.
Jesus.
Listen. Effective. Is it effective?
It was effective. It did its job. It did its job. Once they figured out how to do the gear, use their gear, especially the spleen, he's like, pull my finger. It was just like, just pull my finger. And but he has to have the right aim. But it worked. It worked.
That's what I sit there and be like, that seems like a dialysis problem. That's a spleen. I have superpowers. No, sir, you have a medical condition.
You have something wrong with your insides. Your guts is raw. It's something wrong with your guts.
When you are firing sewer gas, sir, that is not a superpower.
You need to be
serial flaginitis.
Sir, you are one pill away from being on those special commercials.
Right.
I don't let flatulence get me down.
Oh my God!
That's the ones when they have some white woman spinning with the box in the middle of the woods.
It's always they're happy. It's always in the springtime. It's like it's springtime. I'm like, I don't know where y'all at. Where y'all skipping with your culottes on?
It's like a candlelit dinner between two people. And it's just like, I am not gonna let this date be ruined by oily underwear. Wait,
right?
Wait a minute.
You be like, oh, they seem happy. They're having nice dinner, and like that's the thing. They out to lunch with the girls. I have 10% less anal leakage. What? Shout out to Mad TV. Shout out Scott person. Yeah. Shout out to Mad TV for Splishak.
Good God. I was like, if you're just good, why did it start from the hospital room? I should have never had that third chili dog.
My wife told me never to touch those refried beans, but they taste so good. And now I'm paying for it. And so is everyone else. Oh my God. So far, the picks have been there. These are extremely underrated movies. Extremely underrated films. And then we're getting to a little more known territory.
Okay.
Hold on. For some reason, I didn't have the one I wanted up there lit. But yeah, we're getting.
Based on what y'all said, Defendor sounds like it's rated exactly right. I don't know what that is.
It's right where it belongs.
It feels appropriate.
Yeah.
Oh, and how?
Yes.
And how?
Hancock is underrated.
Yes.
Hancock is underrated. Because it gave you something and you really wanted to know more story about these characters. Their background, where it came from. Suit was fly. It was giving me early 2000s X-Men right now. It was, I wanted to know, like, where were these people from? Where him and Charlize Theron, where Will Smith and Charlize Theron came from. Like, for them to be
that powerful and be linked, like that means you lived for a very long time. Like, what happened? Like, where'd you come from?
Anticlimactic fight.
Yeah.
But prior to everything else, yeah.
That was the thing that I never liked about Hancock. I'm like, I like the fact you said, someone said there, I don't forget who says, Hancock is basically what if Superman had a bad day.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what Hancock is. But like you said, the whole not explaining where they came from, that little thing, like we were created in two, we were made to be together. The closer we are, the mortal we become, and then we die. It's like, you didn't really explain anything there.
No.
And then, the bad guy was just a guy who kept losing his hand.
Great planner, bad at keeping his hands.
He kept losing his hand. I'm like, let me get this straight. So the only reason that he was able to take you down, a superhero, was because he caught you at a weak moment. So really his superpower is just comedic timing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the back half of that movie felt like it was definitely a different movie.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody was like hired to like blend these two ideas together.
Yeah. Because maybe even the prison scene, he gave a damn good speech. I'm like, oh, that's a villain speech. He gave y'all a good villain because he riled him up. He was like, rise, my bro. I was like, it's damn near a cult. He got y'all together. He was like, there's a plan in place, and we're gonna execute said plan. And damn it, I still haven't figured out a way to keep my hands.
Yeah, but the cool part about it is just like, how in the world do you? It's like you really gave us a bad guy without not giving us a bad guy. You just basically gave us a disgruntled employee.
Yes.
That's pretty much, you gave us a guy who swore up and down he was a smart bank robber, and then he's like, you ticked off a person who literally sat there and said, call me crazy one more time.
Yeah. It's the wrong time to do it. Wrong time.
Also gave us a man being sodomized by the head of another man. Just that
part. I'm sorry, but man gonna walk to me and say, you know what? I'm putting yours up his is going up yours, and you unfortunately really gonna mess up because yours is going up mine. Never since Booty Warrior, however, felt like could not be tested. This man had sat there and said that he will do that to me. No.
The original Human Centipede.
Right.
Oh man.
And I skipped that movie. It's like, wait a minute. So someone made a movie out of this?
Three times.
Yeah, not gonna lie, the morbid curiosity got me on the first one. And I was like, no,
I'm with you, Sam. I'm with you, Assassin.
Look, they tricked me with Hostel. They will not trick me with Human Centipede. No.
Look, I didn't watch the Human Centipede in its entirety. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, I don't need to know all this setup. I need to understand, did they really do this? Like, did they really do this? And then fast forward, damn. All right,
Alexa, fast forward to the Human Centipede.
I don't need the rest of this.
I mean, dang, it's just like that was just no. Yeah. Y'all telling me it's like green hell. It's like, let's follow these white people decide to go into the indigenous woods and try to civilize them. No, I know how it ends. I know how that ends. I'm good. I don't need to know what cannibalistic ideas they come up with.
Let's just say the one at the front didn't get it the worst. Let's just say that.
I'm good. Because I was like, I can see the cannibals go on YouTube. And now we are cooking potato salad warriors today.
Oh my god. So more underrated films. Mm-hmm. Chronicle. Get that up. Mm-hmm. Chronicle. This was one of those found footage type movies.
Yeah.
And it was good. And it was well disguised. I hated that Michael B. Jordan's character died. I hated that went down the way it did. But it left so many answers wide open. Or so many questions wide open. Like, what was it that crashed? What is going on down there? What happened to the cousin? Because he flew off. Like, there's more to tell without having to surround the original three.
But yeah,
Dane DeHaan had literally from that point on, I said, no matter what I seen this guy in, I'm like, you were literally the anime villain. You were the anime villain.
Mm-hmm.
It was like,
I mean, pulling the legs off the spider. That scene.
Yeah. Because I mean, it was shot in the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was shot in the same way as Blair Witch and Cloverfield, right?
Yep. Yep.
It was shot.
Like-
it was shot.
like-
it was
like
shot from that
almost,
POV
almost,
area.
yeah. Point of view, like, yep.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I kind of felt bad for Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, dude, the signs are there. Your friend is gonna turn on you.
Yeah.
I'm like I
y'all
kind of
kept,
felt bad.
you kept trying to calm him down, but it was only the cousin that could calm him down. It was,
I'm like, he's sitting there really trying to finesse his powers. I'm like, nah, when he decided that he was like, let me just see if I can pull this off. You good? I'm not flying. I was like, bro, I got my own powers. As long as I keep my distance from you, I'll live. The moment I try to calm you down, I'm dead.
Yeah.
makes me think of Pocahontas. These white men are dangerous.
when he knocked the car off the road, when he knocked that truck off the road, I'm like, yep, this is it. This is it.
Kind of makes you wonder if that was the idea for Brightburn.
Ooh. It
kind of makes you wonder if Chronicle gave birth to Brightburn. If Superman wasn't as noble and modest, if he was just using his powers to impose his will.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we don't have superpowers, because I know I couldn't be trusted. There's too many people I would just whoo.
I'm not going out all the time. Good Lord.
I mean, that's like if Jedi powers existed. Oh dear God, do not give them to me.
Yeah.
Do not.
You know how many times I've driven to work and I'm like, imagine if I had super speed.
Mm-hmm.
I just wait till the last minute to get up.
See, in my case,
you want to go on a trip, honey? No flyer miles included. I can take you overseas and we can come back.
See,
I'm good.
Now that's noble and great. Now me, if I had the ability to fly and I could find a suit, do you know how many people I would just mess with, just brooding in midair, just looking at them, just sitting there in true Batman fashion?
Black Spartan said, "No, I'm not flying during the daytime. I'm floating over them when it's the night out and they can actually still see the sky. They be like, yo, what is that up there?" And just fly off.
Just be sitting there with a core-like voice to just say, "I shall find you one day." One day,
he pulled his Zod out. He was just like, "I will find you."
No, when you like extra tired and you kind of like open your eyes a little bit and like that pile of clothes in the corner looks like the boogeyman or something.
Yeah,
it actually be me. An instant transmission into your room. You kind of waking your eyes and go, ah! And then just instant transmission away.
Instant transmission.
See, that's why I know I couldn't. I would be so. I was like, everybody's like, I love how everybody will. I would be such a hero. No, I would be anti-hero. I would help out sometimes. There's always gonna be that one dude, like that person always cuts you off in traffic, and they have the nerve to sit there and give you the finger. But it's like, if I had force powers, I could just slowly crush that car from both sides.
Make sure ain't no cars around. Just like, let me snatch that axle out real quick for you, my guy.
Or my personal favorite, just empty out the gas tank. just have it just floating up in the air.
Oh, jeez.
See, like I said, terrible ideas for those that should not have powers, because I will not. It's not like Captain America. No, it's like John Walker. If John Walker had prep time.
Yeah, John Walker. Sans messing with the door of Elijah. Now this is one that was extremely slept on. Dredd.
Yes,
Dredd was slept on. Carl Urban is a damn treasure in the nerd community. And others that have joined him is Pedro Pascal, Nathan Fillion, and Oscar Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
And Jensen Ackles now, of course. But yeah, Dredd was just what it was supposed to be. It was dark. It was gritty. It was violent. If you've ever read a Judge Dredd comic book, all of those things, and we're not talking about the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd
was kind of Hollywoodized.
Taking my helmet off.
It was really Hollywoodized because the Lawgiver was never that flashy, I guess is the best way you can put it. It's like the Lawgiver that's in Dredd versus Judge Dredd is
he was
miles ahead better.
He was for the smoke.
Yeah.
He was built for this.
He's like, you're walking into a building a building with multiple floors with multiple inhabitants that are ready to kill you. So, okay,
Like this version of Dredd is the version that if he's on call at another place, he's gonna wipe up, and if he gets that call, he was like, I'm on my way. But weren't you just I'm on my way?
That's the best. That is the best way to say that. If that was a dude that was literally for the smoke, especially in that movie, it was like you got 10 seconds to comply. He's in a room surrounded outside, and he's telling them you have 10 seconds to comply or die. Dude, you outnumbered. And you still talking major mess.
Hold my beer. That's just like he was like, hold my beer.
Oh snap! Dredd and Raid are the same movie.
Dredd and Raid are the same movie, exactly.
Yes. Also the Raid, also another underrated movie. Very underrated, considering the fact that not a lot of people. Well, let me take it back.
It's only gaining.
It's getting out there, but for those in the martial arts community that we love those movies and stuff, we've known about them, but as folks are going out there, they're finding out about the Raid and Raid Redemption. So those movies, my God.
Guys, Marvel, I know you're listening. Charlie Cox Daredevil in a Raid style film. Just keep him traveling up through the building, and the hallways get smaller and smaller.
You know what? Don't give him that. Will.
Gold.
Don't give him that type of smoke for Born Again. Because if they turn around and do Fist Tower and he's in Fist Tower and it's the hallway scene, you already know how many folks are going to be sitting there being hype about it. Just all you see, let's just say Charlie Cox is fighting the Hand. You have nothing but hand assassins inside Fist Tower. It is literally a long ass hallway. All he has is Billy Sticks, and just let it go.
You know how it's like Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets. There's Daredevil in the endless hallway.
But that would be kind of hard to top in Born Again. If you have the endless hallway at Fist Tower while he's getting to him, fighting the Hand, you really can't top that no more. That's nothing you can top beyond that. I mean, I'm just saying, unless you somehow have Frank come out of nowhere and be like, you seem outnumbered.
That's what I'm saying. It's like is on the back of Secret Invasion, how it seems like they're getting a little more dark, a little darker, a little more serious. Like, give us just a 90-minute hallway scene of Daredevil badassery.
I just want to see Frank just come in at the end and be like, see, you want to fight people. Grenades work better. I could see that.
Although that scene in Daredevil when Frank is in prison. Damn, that's the Frank I've been looking for.
He just sitting there laughing in a pool of blood. Just
that's the Frank. I said, where has this bitch been all? I've been waiting for this dude.
I mean, that's the Frank where it's like, oh, y'all gonna come to get me in prison? Come at me.
Yeah. and had a shank in him at one point and was still. I'm like, yo, this is pure adrenaline. There's no shut up valve. This dude is done.
But imagine if you're supposed to jump him and you see him shanked up, laughing as he's offing people. Nah, bro. I'm not gonna get put out. I'm not gonna get put out by a man you already tried to stab twice.
Yeah. Again, in every action scene, I'm always mad at guy number 4 through infinity. Like, you saw what happened to the first 3 dudes. It's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. You asked for that ass whooping by continuing to try and fight.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's just like, you gotta think as a henchman. You just saw the first wave go through. You in wave 3. Where does literally
self-preservation
kick in?
you know what? I made some bad life choices, so I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I ain't seen nothing, don't know nothing, can't hear nothing. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead. I'm gonna back out. I'm gonna do like Homer Simpson and back into the bushes.
You almost want to be like in John Wick when he let those two guys go out there whooping their ass and whooping their ass in the car. And he's like, you know what? Y'all still want to fight? No,
we're good.
We're good.
V for Vendetta.
Yo,
V for Vendetta, very underrated. Great novel, underrated film. And if the speech he gives Natalie Portman doesn't still ring true,
man,
when you sit back, you're just like,
how it still relates to today.
He is not wrong. I'm telling you, he's not wrong.
Hugo Weaving.
I mean, it still relates to today. So it's like you play his speech now for those who have never seen it, and they'll look at reality and go, "Damn, you can't say nothing."
And the book was decades before that.
Yep.
So
that's the crazy part. It's like, so we're saying fight the government. I said, yeah, the same thing was also said in Ants.
Yeah.
But it's a Disney Pixar movie, so no one picked up on that.
Yeah. Forget Pixar, it spoon feeds you the truth.
Yeah.
The truth ain't went nowhere. They just spoon feeding it to you. Before I get to the last two, we'll do the round table and give the two, see if you have two honorable mentions and see what we got. So Black Spartan, you go.
Honorable mentions? What did I say? Oh, Guyver 2 Dark Hero. Not the first Guyver, although shout out to Mark Hamill, but Guyver 2 Dark Hero with David Hytier. And there's two reasons why. Because number one, David Hytier is the voice of Snake in the Metal Gear Solid series on PlayStation. And number two, that was probably the better fighting style movie of the two. But at the same time, it did introduce Black Guyver, which again is the more really effed up version of Guyver.
Yeah.
If you've seen the Bio Booster anime, you'll know where I'm going with that when I say the more effed up version.
Yeah.
But no, that's underrated because like I said, it was a great movie. It looked low budget, but the special effects were kind of on the same level as if I had to be honest, it's on the same level as Green Lantern without CGI.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. Mine's CGI, it's literally the same special effects.
Yeah. With the suit and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, with the suit. With suit and everything going on. So yeah, that one. And what else did I say?
Shout out to video stores back then because I stumbled across those gems. And then Showtime showed it over a weekend. I was like, oh, I'm watching all of this.
Oh, yeah. Suncoast Save Lives. Suncoast and Blockbuster Video and Hollywood Video. And if you're really local, especially Tennessee, Marco's Family Video. Because you know why? It had that dark section you couldn't go into when you were a kid.
It was a family video. It was a family video here in Ohio and Akron. Family Video is where you found all your Tromaville gems.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of the other movie I mentioned. I think I had a list. Double Dragon. As corny and as cheesy as it was,
I will allow it.
It was on because it was in the same. I won't say it was in the same year. It might have been It might have been 3 years after Street Fighter. I don't really remember.
It was in that. Yeah, it was in.
It was in that same bubble, right? It was the same bubble. But to see Mark Damascos, because this was right after his Capoeira movie. I cannot think of it.
Yep.
It was
Capoeira.
What was that movie called that he was?
It was Only the Strong. I think Only the Strong.
Only the Strong. There we go. Only the Strong was the Capoeira movie. So it was right after that. And then you had Billy Warlock, whose claim to fame was Party of Five. And then you had
talking about a mismatch. And I'm like, yeah, I know Mark Dacascos. Yeah, I know this dude. Ain't that the kid?
But the funny part is,
it's like he's got fighting skills now.
Here's what makes it worse. And I was telling somebody else. Here's how you know it was really worse. The bad guy in Double Dragon is, if I'm right, and I just have to double check this, is the same guy who played T1000 Judgment Day.
I believe so.
If I'm right. If I'm right, he's the same guy. So it's like, I was like, oh man, that's funny. Just to see him go from a guy who's supposed to play an ancient Japanese dragon warlord to a motionless killing robot. and then that makes it worse. That was probably Alyssa Milano's best shot at movies. Let's just be honest.
Ooh.
She had a moment. She definitely had a moment in time. She was a moment in time. Like she was the it girl at that time.
Yeah, she was the it girl at the time. And don't get me wrong, she had ass, but hey,
she's still very attractive. She's still very pretty.
She's still up there. But no, that's my two. Just because Double Dragon is just like Street Fighter. You're going to sit there and yes, we know it's corny, it's over the top, it's underacted, but dang it, this is all we had. This is all we had.
We took what was given.
Yeah.
We didn't have Reddit or Rotten Tomatoes. We took what was given.
Rotten Tomatoes was not around.
Just Siskel and Ebert, and we didn't even pay attention to those two guys.
Oh man.
Cinematic Assassin, who are your two honorable mentions?
All right. I feel like a film that's celebrated now, but was not upon its first arrival, Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
And just the sheer number of talented people in that film and behind the camera is insane. Like it's crazy today to say that there's a film that had a couple of Avengers.
Right.
Superman,
right.
It was some people that you didn't expect. And
exactly.
And no one really saw it. Just like, what?
That's the crazy thing.
The video game references, though. That's what I was like. To me, that was a video game. That was, you know what? That was Ready Player One before we had it.
Yeah.
That was really Ready Player
Although
One.
the scene of is Scott here? No, he just stepped out. That scene is hilarious to me.
That was a full commitment to that window crash, though.
He was like, she was like, is Scott here? No, he just stepped out.
And I still say, was Edgar Wright? Like,
yes.
Whenever America ever wants to like do another real crack at a Dragon Ball Z film,
that
like he got anime down.
He had the anime influences going.
Mm-hmm.
Anime, and then he mixed it with a little video game. He's the man. I mean, has something to tap into.
Although they are doing a live action of anime of Scott Pilgrim with all the original cast, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Every time I look at Micah Cera, I'm like, dude is just funny. He's very squirrely, very squirrely. Damn, I sound like Jason Bateman just now. Just,
right. My second one. All right, I know this is technically not a superhero film. However, I saw the film. I saw the things these two gentlemen did throughout the course of this film. I have to say RRR.
Yes.
Like, it's not underrated because the whole world got on the wave, but like,
hold on. I'm giving it to this.
It's got to be a superhero film.
You slap a type.
My man went 1 on 1,000 and got the man that he wanted. My other guy's holding a tiger at bay with just his bare head. A man throws a jaguar at another man in the film.
That's good watching right there. If you really,
man, you gotta be.
If you really need to shut your brain off and have a good time, this is it. RRR is where it's 3 hours. Don't cry about it. We sat through Endgame multiple times. This RR, and besides, you can watch it on Netflix, so that means you can pause it. So RRR is a gem, amongst gems. It's like, and let's face it, those type of films, their music be hitting, and the dance scenes, they just
And then there was a dance battle in the middle of it. That happened.
That dance battle is awesome. Let's be honest. When it comes to Bollywood movies, them dance battles, they
I'm like, that takes dedication. I'm like, yo. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I'm not questioning where this. I'm not questioning where this came from.
But at the same time, it's like the dedication to it. It's like he stayed on beat. You know how bad it is to get your ass beat to a soundtrack?
On beat.
Especially a Bollywood soundtrack. That is not a slow dance.
You're distracted because you're just like, how are they still on beat? We in the midst of all this tension, and yet
and yet he's sitting there with the come on stance at the same time. Just, you are not about to get your ass beat by a man that can rock his hips and moonwalk at the same time.
The states of the United States of America could never. I'm sorry, Michael Jackson. You gave us some good dance off battles and beat it, but
the dance
Bollywood movies,
Stairs and Shaman.
Exactly. He does stare in Shaman.
Stares in Shaman. But with the same time though, all Bollywood movies are just F physics. They're basically Fast and the Furious.
Oh yeah.
Just not everything's about family. Sometimes you gotta throw a tiger at somebody.
So yeah, the statement gets across. I tell you that much. So my two honorable mentions are very much unsung. These two brothers have worked hand in hand. They're both very influential in the blurred community in so many ways. One of them, Blank Man, and the other guy.
I also started watching this last night. It's like,
this
so stupid.
It's so stupid, but it's good. It's a
Look
good.
at me, Mama. I'm a grandfather.
And yes, I did put other guys in this font smaller on purpose because he did. That was his name. Other guy. He's like, oh, David Allen Greer. He was like, man, why can't you call me Karate Man or something? It was like,
he's like, other guy's catchy.
I didn't have time to find him, but J5 is a nice addition to this.
when he's yelling at his crotch in the break room and Robin Givens walks in, I can't play with you right now.
Oh man.
No, it makes it worse because he says, okay, listen, get home, play with you later, figure this out. I'm like,
you just imagine trying to have that excuse when you turn around and see a couple women staring at you. Look,
I wasn't talking to him, Jimmy. Oh damn. It's like 90 minutes. It gets right to the point. Is out of control as this costume looks, it was actually effective. It was effective.
Bulletproof? What was it? Bulletproof, stab proof?
It was bulletproof, stab proof. His gadgets were just people's trash that they threw away, and he knew how to make that shit work. J5 was an old school hand washing machine. It was a bomb disposal unit.
Not a very good one, but yes.
It was a bomb disposal unit. And when it blew up because it didn't survive it, the scream to the heavens was J5. No, you're going down, Manelli. I was just like, dude.
That was funny.
Oh, God. It is. It's a gem. I showed my kids that, and they just cracked up. It was like, this was a thing. Oh yeah, this was a thing. This was a thing. Look, my man had his grandmother's house coat, or as his cape. He said, "Is that Charles?"
The only issue I had, so wait a minute. So you created this substance that basically makes you invulnerable, but you couldn't build a suit. I kind of felt like that was like, hang on a second. You're smart enough to where you can literally make yourself virtually invincible, but you choose overalls and your mama's couch cushion.
Well, in his defense, he did have a job, and after their grandmother died, he had to go work at McDonald's. So he doesn't really have the funding that Batman would have, which was his influence.
Oh man,
and David Allen Greer worked at the news station, so somebody had some kind of money, but it wasn't a lot of money because they stayed in the hood, you know. But
I take karate classes. I'm like, no, you didn't, David Deaton Karate Studios. No, you didn't.
You barely did that kick. You barely got that kick. You could just lift your leg high.
Iron Fist versus other guy.
The scene where he's standing in the warehouse. It's the third act. They're in the warehouse, and he was like, "I'm up here. You can shoot me in my ass here," and then get shot in the ass. Realize, he was like, "Kevin, no."
I kind of felt like
it's not bulletproof.
I kind of felt bad for him. It's like the whole time your brother's just egging on the bad guy, something to shoot him. It's like
he said, "I forgot to tell you."
He's like,
my man had a fedora. Like
it is kind of bad though if you think about it. How you gonna fight crime, Dick Tracy?
What's Black Man say? He's in the alleyway with the thugs. He says, he was like, "Who are you?" He was like, I can't remember what he said, but he was like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to beat you." He was like, "Well, I guess you're just gonna have to beat me and call me Susan then." And he starts beating me. He was like, "What's the matter, Susan?"
Oh, when he got hit and oh god, that was
somebody shoot him in the head.
Oh.
Somebody figured it out. They figured it out.
I'm trying to think. Was Robin Givens was a love interest in that one, wasn't she?
Robin Givens was the love interest. Yeah.
Okay.
She was the love interest. It was crazy. It was hilarious. It was stupid, but it was a good stupid. Like, all you could say is Damon Wayans' character in that film. He had the gumption. He had the way. He just didn't have the means. So he had to use people's junk.
Right.
Given that, and the fact that you created a whole solution that can make your stuff bulletproof, just invulnerable,
that's impressive.
Somebody get this man a grant.
All he needed was a decent suit.
That's it.
All he needed was a decent suit.
He was slightly less problematic than Handyman, man.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. You know. And you know what? If he had his grandmother around, who was their only living relative next to his brother, if he had the help that this man had,
right?
Meteor Man.
Oh, Don Cheadle.
Robert Townsend does not get the recognition and the flowers that he deserves for the, he put the Wayans on. He put a lot of other comedians on. A lot of other comedians on.
Yeah.
That was a treasure trove. Like, they were going to be the new Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Like, that was the new Rat Pack. Like, it was the Wayans, it was Robert Townsend, Robin Harris was part of that group. Man, it was I gotta find some of those. That was a whole group of comedians that could never be. They've risen from there.
Yeah,
and like I said, the Wayans was part of that camp.
Yeah, the Meteor Man was definitely a group of a lot of stars at the time. It was kind of thing where it's like Meteor Man was really, that's right. I was right on that. Meteor Man was really Harlem Nights before we had it. If you really think about it,
Marla Gibbs, James Earl Jones, Robert Guillaume, Luther Vandross, Don Cheadle, Tiny Zeus Lister, Be Real. They had a ton of hip hop rap artists in there. They had a ton of just actors. Period. Bill Cosby before he was a problem, but Bill Cosby, it was. His power set wasn't even bad. His power.
His power set was actually impressive. I mean, he was bulletproof. He could fly. He did have super speed.
He grew a garden with his powers somehow. Yeah. He like irradiated a garden where it grew super. And he still lived in the hood. He was a teacher. Eddie Griffin was his boy. He could hear animals talk. He could touch a book, retain the information for 30 seconds, which is probably all you need.
Yeah,
to do what you need to do.
Damn. I had to think about it. It's just the whole thing is like you think about it, it's like his powers actually weren't bad. It's just the whole thing is like, why? It's like the one thing that we always think is that you can't tell some people nothing about abilities because they're gonna wind up telling other people. And you see Eddie Griffin's character have on the actual suit with a do-rag talking about, yeah, I'm Media Man. I was like, and the real one shows up and flies off.
Yeah.
We just said bump secret identities at this point.
Yeah, for like in the beginning, people were trying to get his picture. You couldn't take a picture because somehow the face was blurred.
Yeah,
it had that effect. But people that seen him, like the neighborhood, the Golden Lords had the group. ABC was part of the Golden Lords, the Baby Lords. They were the Baby Lords. It was a who's who. Frank Gorshin, who was from 1966 Batman series, who was the Riddler, was the big man on campus. He was the bad guy in that one. And
shout out to hydrogen peroxide for all that.
That was a lot of peroxide. The Golden Lords. Meteor Man is a gem.
It is. I just can't get past the Golden Lords. Just what I get Robert Townsend again, genius screenwriter.
Absolutely.
The man has literally blazed a trail. But I gotta imagine when he came up with this idea for the Golden Lords, I'm like, I kind of felt like, how do we make them stand out? Let's make their hair as gold color as humanly possible.
That was the thing, man. That was the thing.
Right, Don cheated that. He said, okay, so Don, here's the idea. We are going to basically bleach your hair. You're going to do what? Well, it's called the Golden Lords. Well, yeah, I got that part. So we got to bleach your hair.
Tiny Zeus was just like, I'm bald. You ain't bleaching nothing.
I mean, tell him Tiny Zeus Lister in his prime, who was basically the Michael Clark Duncan of his time.
Yeah, right. He was.
You gonna tell that man? No, those muscles ain't for show.
Luther Vandross' only acting role, Little Luther, of course, but his only acting role. I'm like, Jet Magazine. I remember reading about that. I'm like, this is a cast. I was like, that's a lot of people. I was like, I know all these people.
But it is underrated just because it was one of those. Actually, the more I think about it, dang, you want to talk about 360s? If you really think about Meteor Man, it's almost the same basis for Black Lightning, Static, and Hardware. Actually, if I think about those right. So really, a lot of the milestone comics / DC that we know, their origin stories kind of originate around Meteor Man in a sense. Yeah. So
always dealing with community and doing it for your community. Because like I said, he was a teacher.
Yeah.
He was a teacher. And Eddie Griffin was a teacher as well. That was his best friend, conniving, but best friend. You always got to have one of those.
You gotta have that conniving, always on the come up best friend.
You pretty much had the upper echelon of Black Hollywood at the time. Because like I said, you had Marla Gibbs, you had Robert Guillaume in this film as his parents, which was funny in itself. Because his mother was like, I am ecstatic. I got to make him a suit. That's a mama for you.
But that just goes to show you that Mama Marla Gibbs made a impressive ass suit this side of Wayne Technologies. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
She didn't just stop at once. She was like, no, that ain't gonna get it. She had an eye.
I'm just gonna say this: like your mom basically created Kevlar. I feel like there's a story back there behind Marla Gibbs. Marla Gibbs, I was like, wait a minute, you just made a tactical suit in about the span of a commercial. Ma'am, I got questions.
It's very practical. It's very
Mama
practical.
used to be into some things. That's my business.
Mama always had a past.
Yeah. But yeah, good. It really is a good movie. Despite how cheesy it is, it did have a message. It really did have a message. Ice Cube was in it. I forgot. Ice Cube was in it.
Ice Cube was in it too.
So because it was all like the Crips and Bloods was fighting, so it was just like he brought peace to the hood.
Right. And that's the crazy part about it. It's just that if you really think about, oh dang, I could have said Black Dynamite. I didn't even think about that.
Oh,
damn!
Dynamite.
I didn't think about Black Dynamite.
You ain't shit, Black Dynamite.
Another, I mean, technically superhero, but also slightly black exploitation. But still, it's still going to be up there with movies that you can sit there and watch and be entertained all over again.
Yeah.
But no, Meteor Man, you're right. It did have a message, and I think that's where, again, if you really think about it, it's like we talked about earlier. A lot of these stories to where they are written by those who understand the character communities, and you can make the story and the hero make it relatable. So it's the same thing all over again. That's why I said. That's why I think Meteor Man is one of those ones that you could still. Well, I mean, that's the difference between a good movie and a bad movie, and just when you're too lazy to turn the channel on Saturday afternoon. But Meteor Man is one of those to where you will watch it and just be like, it still slaps. It really does.
Robert Townsend has always been one about community.
Yeah.
Behind and in front of the camera, and he's always been about community. He's always been about lifting. Hell, he worked on Black Lightning. He was one of the actors on Black Lightning. He directed I think 1 or 2 episodes of the series. Yep. So to like you said, it's in that same vein. It's always about, if you can get to this point, show the next generation, work with your community, make these things right. We don't have to be this way. We don't need that other side. We just need to work on us.
Pretty much. And we
did
that. We did that. We had hit movies if you think about it. Harlem Nights was a solid one because that was really all us. Like I said, we talked about Meteor Man, we talked about the Temptations, we talked about the 5 Heartbeats, he talked about
Hollywood Shuffle. Hollywood Shuffle is another
one. Devil in the Blue Dress, Mo Better Blues, Sugar Hill, New Jack City. I mean, we can keep going. The point is, there's a lot. The formula's there.
Yeah.
So really,
I mean, when you talk about Black Hollywood, you talk about people like Robert Townsend, Tyler Perry, Tim Reed.
Yeah.
Yes, Tim Reed, who was already building and had built his own studio.
Also roasted Paul Mooney.
Yes.
Roasted the hell out of Paul Mooney.
Yes.
I was like, very few people can stand with that man, and roasted him thoroughly. But
when he did it, I was just like, wow. Very good, sir.
Paul Mooney ain't no slouch, but if you can make him pause, you have done an achievement.
Yeah. So it's when you see these type of films, all these that I've listed today, take a look, check them out. They're cheesy, yes, but they're fun to watch. Corny
absolutely. But the entertainment factor,
there's there. In the last 2 that I mentioned are very high. Actually, the last 4 or 5 that I mentioned are highly entertaining. Chronicle, Dread, V for Vendetta, Black Man, and Meteor Man. They're highly entertaining.
Oh, damn. I thought it was
What's that?
Dark Man.
I thought about that too.
Damn, I forgot about Dark Man.
I thought about Dark Man. Dark Man, Sam Raimi in his earliest, and Liam Neeson in his earliest that we know of.
Just a man. And he didn't even have a superpower. He was just good at special effects.
Yeah. He was Dark Man. He had rage issues. Yeah. And because of the accident, he couldn't feel any pain. So you could stab this dude. He wasn't going to feel it, but he was definitely going to be pissed off. And somehow that rage.
So he's basically painkiller with prep time.
Yeah.
Painkiller prep time.
He could make a mask of his old face, but it only lasted 90 minutes.
Yup.
Because he was trying to find a way to become himself again. But damn, like my guy's nerve endings were burnt.
Yeah.
He got caught in an accident.
Yeah, burnt his nerve, right.
His nerve endings were burnt. So, he could take pain. My dude could take pain, So
I had to think about that because I was kind of digging. I was going back to my family video times. I was like, dang, superhero movies. Well, no, FX doesn't count because that really was a superhero movie. No, although that was just
that damn clown was creepy. That clown was creepy as hell, man.
Oh man, that I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age in my movie experiences. Like, dang, FX. I'm like, people, Chris, at your age and me and Will's age will know what FX is. That's all. Yeah,
it's weird, man. Cool trick, but still, it's a clown. It's creepy.
Very, very much so.
Like, I don't care what you say. It's a nice clown. There's no such thing as a nice.
There's no such thing as nice clowns. No such. It's the reason why I don't like clowns. There's a reason why I don't like clowns now. It's like
Ronald McDonald entered the chats.
Do you want to watch it? No, I do not.
No, I'm good. I don't like clowns like that. I didn't say I was scared of clowns. I don't like clowns. There's a difference.
Like I said, I don't look. I punched Bozo before.
Wow.
Like,
here has a balloon. Pop. Get away from me.
That clown learned at 15 years old. I did not like clowns.
Will went through the rubber nose. He was like, "Oh, you're gonna feel all this 15-year-old strength."
I was worse. I went right for his stomach, right? Since I was aiming for the solar plexus. I threw everything I had.
That is also assault.
I did apologize out there, but it's like, when you didn't want clowns for your birthday, and the first thing that pops up is a man who, what was he? Yeah, 6'6", looking like Bozo, and it's like, "Hi, Will," and the next thing you know, it's like,
I take that back. There's only one clown that I like, and it's Puddles the clown. The Puddles the pity clown. He can sing.
He can sing.
He can sing. That man can croon. We're getting ready to get out of here. We're going to definitely revisit this because we know there's a treasure trove of superhero or not so superhero films that are not Marvel and DC. Because what you guys are seeing, and I mean people that's watching and people that's listening to this tomorrow, we were there in the trenches. We've seen some things. We see some things we wish we hadn't seen.
Basket case.
Oh my God.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. Basket case. Basket case. I wish I could. If there was a way I could delete that from my brain.
There was a time that Showtime, the cable channel Showtime, used to show Newcastle movies consistently.
Yep.
Basket case was one of them. And it was more than one.
Yep. They got to about 4, didn't they?
Yeah.
About 4.
If you are a B movie, you're probably going to be on Showtime on a late Friday night.
Ooh. It was just
USA used to have a cartoon block, and then after the cartoon block, they had like a lot of transitions. They used to have a cartoon block on Saturday mornings, and then after their cartoon block was done, they would either have Kung Fu Theater,
yep,
or they had Tromaville Saturday,
yep.
And you would see, when I say Tromaville, I mean Toxic Avenger 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Classic Nukem High, Kabuki Man, you name it. They were there.
Nukem High. Oh, man.
That city had it bad. Before we get out of here, we're going to go ahead and sign off. We'll start with the Cinematic Assassin. Let them know where they can find you.
Yes, I continue my social hiatus, but don't matter what site you on. When I return, you can find me at Mayhem Media. That's MAYEHEM Media. As I continue to stress, mental health matters. So go ahead and take that PTO, and whatever you do today, tomorrow, and any days ahead, lean into learning, lean into laughter, and lean into love. I promise you, it'll make everything a whole lot easier on everybody around you.
Big Papa Black Spartan, brand new father.
Yep, the little one is.
Congratulations!
Thank you. The little one is downstairs and surprisingly quiet. Surprisingly, this is night.
This is night one.
How about a horror movie? This is just night one. No,
night one. It fades. It fades from black and then fades back out.
Just like it's a Lord of the Rings, and so it begins.
And so it begins.
But no, I am Black Spartan, also known as Will. All socials I can be found at BlackFox447. You can like and follow me. I usually do reviews on everything that I watch, that I play, that I read, and gym stuff sometimes because I haven't been in the gym. Just because, as you guys have heard, I am now a newly minted father of my own. My Padawan did come about 2 weeks ago, and he's finally home. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that new journey as a father. But I will definitely crawl on that, as well as cute pictures of him, because he is an adorable little thing. And I'm surprised that, I was a little bit worried that he wasn't going to come out any hair, but his hair came out smooth, and I feel great about that. But aside from that, guys, I do have a couple of podcasts of my own. I do have my political podcast called How the Frack We Got Here, which is every Wednesday, every Saturday. That can be found on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I also have another podcast with my co-pilot Joe Tonello called Give It Podcast every Friday on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. I also, guys, do cover For Blurred's Eye View, the wrestling side of the world. Why? Because wrestling is real and people are fake. Shout out to Mr. Candy for that one. Although you're WWE right now, dark times ahead, as you heard us talk about earlier in this podcast. So, yeah, fun times. It was. I just want to see Vince just walk up to Triple H. It was me. It was me. Just to have the
still one of the coldest ending lines in any media. I want her to know it was me.
As she's taking the poison. Still awesome. But aside from that, guys, like I said, you're right. She did have the coldest line to a Lannister. But anyway, as I usually say, guys, as I say for this year, because I said before, we are all running different paths. We are all on different train tracks. We are all going to get our goals at different times in life. Nothing wrong with that. But my wish, if there was anything for this year outside of a healthy baby boy, which I did get, is that if someone actually makes it, hits a goal, gets the bag, gets that opportunity, gets whatever they've been grinding to get, instead of being salty, be appreciative, be congratulatory, celebrate with them, share with them. Just because Navy Montel said it best in his IG post earlier today, we need to do a lot more supporting our own community than actually downing it and turning on each other. We're looking at you, Black Sands.
I wasn't going to mention them by name.
We're looking at you, Black
I wasn't going to mention them by name. See, this is why I have this crew. Mm-hmm. We think way too much alike.
I'm just saying, we looking at you, Black Sands, because you found out you effed around and you found out that if you tried to clown one of us, you come for all of us. And
that also family creed right there.
Yeah, you don't go. The Blur's like the bloodline. I'm just saying, we show up in droves. And also follow the Mighty Z, because also her content creation is great.
Yes.
But yes, again, we need to be better about supporting each other. Again, guys, I'm rooting for everybody, especially my Black and my seasoned Mayo and my Latino community out there, because y'all always show us love. We want to show you love, guys, back too. So again, with that being said, I am a very social person. I'm, as you probably, as Chris and Will say, I will probably talk to almost anybody. The only rule I have is don't be a dick, and we'll all be cool.
There it is. Hello, everybody. It's your man on the wall, Chris Fury. If you have watched this show and if you listened to it in the past, I suggest you do one thing. Go follow us on IG, and while you're there, you'll find the link tree in the bio, and you can also find us on Facebook, Blurred's Eye View Podcast, and you can also find us on Twitch, Blurred's Eye View 1. Go to the YouTube page, hit that subscribe button, show your love, hit that notification bell. You'll find out all these great things. Shout out to our sponsors, Ultimate Wireless. Let me take this other one off. Shout out to our sponsor, Ultimate Wireless. You can go there and you can get some great stuff. Also, shout out to a Taco Noir. If you go to a Taco Noir, and at your checkout, you type in Blurred's Eye View, you get a discount, and you help the show out. and you get some really cool blurred blind mystery box gifts. And trust me, it's no loot crate. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get some really, really cool art, cool books, cool everything, like knickknacks, and guess what? It's by people that look like us.
Mm-hmm.
You also want to be able to find us on television, because we're also on Always Press Record TV, APR TV, on Roku and Amazon Fire. Go to alwayspressrecord.com and you will get all your instructions, but it's a completely free download if you have Roku or Amazon Fire Stick. Download that joint there and watch our episodes from season 8 and 9 and see why we are who we are. And it's only getting better, baby. But yeah, shout out to Always Press Record for showing their love, our partners over there. But yeah, like Black Spartan said, we got to support each other. We got to do better than that. BSP, you were wrong. You were wrong. Learn to take constructive criticism. I wasn't going to mention you by name because I got grace.
I was going to do it just because I'm like, because again, it's like, and again, I don't mean to go on this rant. There is nothing wrong with constructive criticism. If anything, it helps you to be better.
That's it.
Okay, especially if you're going to be in the comic book realm, because we've seen it with comic book writers we've had on here, and they've all put out awesome content, but they've all said the same thing. We want to know what you think.
That's it.
You know, is it good? Is it bad? We want to know. Versus, oh, well, I'm just going to tell all my followers to just revenge bomb your website. Because why?
Not cool, dude. It was not cool. That was not the move to make.
Although shout out to Hellspawn Cosplay for channeling my inner pettiness.
There it is.
Shout out to that man. It's like
my man.
This man said, "Oh, you're gonna pick on a blurred woman? Bet. Here I come."
You found the right camp. You found the right camp. But shout out to Mighty Z. Go show support. Follow her page on TikTok. Follow her page on Facebook. She talks about some great Black female comic book characters. The woman's right. Support people like her, Fantastic Frankie, Black Gay Comic Geek, all these people, all these dope creators. They're out here. They're doing a thing. They're putting our faces up front. If you have a dope project, if you have a dope gift and you're a POC creative, guess what? You have a home here. Understand, we don't bully over here. We protect. This is the safe space. And we do not play about our own. But we gonna call you out on your bullshit. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know that's kind of the key. You know, we have to be able to call each other out when it doesn't look right. And BSP,
hold accountable.
We gotta hold you accountable, my guy. And you keep putting your foot in your mouth. We gotta hold. It is the worst PR move ever. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And this was a guy who had Kevin Hart and Mark Cuban backing him.
Yeah, that deal fell through.
And you dropped that bag faster than, you know what? You let's just say you dropped the bag, because I'm not going to say that name. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Let's just say you dropped the bag.
You dropped the bag. You dropped the bag. And we generally don't do stuff like this, but it just has to be said. It has to be said that we cannot allow that type of behavior to go on in our community. It's bad enough that we have to put our face out there and be criticized by the other side. When you can't take the heat, when you can't, like Black Spartan said, it's constructive criticism. It's okay. That just tells you, okay, this, I can see where this person might see that. Let's take a look at it from a different perspective and just try to change that up a little bit.
Hey, look,
if you feel confident in your brand, move forward. It's just one critique.
I'll put it this way: my granddad had the best saying about constructive criticism. Everybody thinks their steak is great until you find out that you've been basically serving everybody skunk.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, do not, if you're looking for voice actors, do not put them behind don't have them go behind a paywall to try out. That's not how that works.
Right.
I'm just saying that's not how that works.
Although I did hear your story, Chris, and my God, sir, I your level of just
sir. Oh, shout out to Josh Evans of iPhone Family. Yeah, from Talk Story to
I like I thought I was perfecting my evil self, but sir,
he's there.
Yeah.
I enjoy myself in those ways. I can.
That's one of those I had to get up. I had to get up from the computer table and just, I'm about to just take a walk on that one. I'm like, I thought I was okay. It's like you think you're pretty good at a jump shot. Then you see LeBron come through. It's like, let me go back to
for those who are wondering, I had a voice job for High Four Family. You can listen to it on Spotify. It's called Talk Story to Me. It is episode 3, I want to say. And I am the voice of the Thomas. I am the villain in that voice. And to be honest with you, I fooled my family. I fooled everyone. I was like, can you tell me who that is? I was like, can you tell me where I'm at? They kept guessing the wrong person every time. Every single time.
I can see that.
And so when I told them who it was, and I'm like, wait, that was you? And I'm like, yeah, that was me. And even listening to it back, even critiquing myself, and I'm like, yo, they didn't have to do much to my voice.
No.
That was me.
It came from a place.
Yeah.
That came from a place. It's almost
I am ready. So look out. You might see me on your latest anime. I don't know. I'm calling it. I
mean,
Phil Lamar, I want to work with you, my guy.
I'm just saying, if I look up on Jujutsu Kaisen and I hear a certain voice, I'll be like, so Chris,
yeah,
we gonna have to. I have questions. I have questions. Sir.
I mean, I'll be doing a pirate pretty soon. So yeah, shout out to One Piece for being in Pirates of the Caribbean being such a great influence for that. So yeah, I'll be doing a pirate pretty soon.
Nice.
But yeah, we cannot allow the bullying and whatnot. Like, understand, we have to call you out on that and understand that was not cool. Thing is, you keep doing it. So, my guy,
some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill.
The line that I will always live and die by. Shout out to Wesley Snipes. Until Thursday, will we be back? We'll probably have a special guest. I've got to look at that schedule again. And we'll definitely talk about more comic news, more entertainment news, as we usually do. And the crew will be back together. Shout out to Lady Mandalore as she's resting up because she probably fell asleep as she was watching us and just did one of these. I'm gonna check on her tomorrow. But until then, until you see us Thursday, remember to find us everywhere you listen to your podcast. You can also find us on all the socials, YouTube channel, show your love over there. Listen to our past episodes, have some fun with it. Understand, we do fan casts, we talk to dope guests, and we do get now we do Blurred Jeopardy at the end of the season now.
I'm just gonna spectate.
Yeah,
I got hate from Kira from the last one. I am spectating on the next one.
That was the villain right there, boy. I gave him some. If you watch the last season ending Blurred Jeopardy, I came with the loaded chamber. I'm like, oh yeah, ain't nobody walking away with no money.
I was cool till I was like, okay, and then it was like, Will, could you let me? I said, see, this is how I know two things about Kira I've discovered. She is highly competitive, and if you don't give her exactly what she wants, she will hold it against you like a nun with a grudge.
Love you, Lady Mandalore.
We do love you, but I guarantee if Blurred Jeopardy came up, Will can't play anymore.
Imagine if we get a panel at BlurCon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have that crowd enamored. I'm like, oh, you think you know? Hold my beer. Hold my beer. But until Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Thursdays, same channel, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can catch us everywhere on the socials. We're heading out of here. Kind of a long one today, but I like it. Until then, remember to educate yourself, entertain yourself, and most of all, encourage yourself. Don't be a bully. Don't be a dick. Don't be an ass. Always stand up for the people that means right. Shout out to the Mighty Z and people like Fantastic Frankie, Black Gay Comic Geek. We out here, we watching you. Shout out to Carl Jones, all these dope people, 9B Collective, Aaron Brown, all of you guys. You're amazing. Jason Michael Primrose, you're amazing. Chase Bolin, awesome. Good Lord, it's so many to name because we've had so many dope guests come on here and they've all said the same thing. Legend of Daywalker, shout out to you, my guy. The only other Blade I recognize. And until then, remember to encourage yourself and others. And until then, we see you guys this Thursday. We're out of here.